Chapter 68. Lin Chun wanted to put his hands back into his pockets, but he realized that his hands were stuck. His palms couldn't open up at all. Damn, I've been tricked. Just as Lin Chun was thinking that he had been tricked, over a dozen figures appeared on the stage at the head of the plaza. The people on the stage were all the elders and veteran mentors of the college. A unibrow old man walked out from the group of people. His aged face had a pair of sharp eyes like a falcon. After all the students had gathered, the unibrow old man stood up. 2 days ago, due to the recruitment of new students, a large number of elders and mentors were out, which led to an extremely vile incident of female mentors being molested in the Outer Institute. After Mentor Su Ying and her husband were knocked out by a mysterious person, Mentor Su was abducted to the Green Moon Forest outside the Outer Institute. When Mentor Su was discovered by the other mentors, her clothes were in a mess and a large part of the Green Moon Forest was burnt. According to our investigation, we have already eliminated the possibility of an outsider. The culprit is most likely hiding in our Inner Institute. The unibrowed old man's words stirred up a huge commotion. All the Inner Institute students present were sizing up the people around them with astonishment and doubt. The two mentors, Mentor Su and her husband, are both at the second level of the Earth realm. There aren't many people in the Inner Institute who are able to knock them out and set them on fire. Class 60 SXS Zhang Yu, what were you doing 2 days ago from noon to afternoon? Elder E. May's sharp eyes swept towards Class 60 SIXS direction. Lin Chen's mouth twitched. What was this situation? It was Class 66 at the first roll call. Close to 10,000 students actually looked towards Class 66 and pointed at them as though the culprit was in the class. And in reply to Elder, I was in seclusion cultivation in the Inner Institute. Elder Gu can testify. A burly and stocky young man from Class 66 of the Inner Court raised his hand and spoke in a low and muffled voice. And our mentor Lung is aware that my movement skills and strength might be among the best in the Inner Institute, but I'm still a virgin. Why would I molest? Mentor Su. The boorish youths surrounding male students were trying their best to hold back their laughter. Some of them were even about to cry. Lin Chun blushed with shame. This man was a little too straightforward. Elder Imei swept a glance at the cold and elegant woman with long legs and snow-white skin. After the cold-looking woman nodded, Elder Imei continued to ask, Ying Liang from Class 66, what were you doing back then? The first person in the front row of Class 66 was a handsome young man dressed in white. When he was asked a question, he immediately stood up and answered in a calm and clear voice. Elder, at that time, I was practicing my battle skills in the martial arts arena. Although I am a domineering person, Teacher Zhou understands me. When it comes to men and women, I've never forced anyone. The young man in white shrugged and spread out his hands. I like to be passive. Everyone was trying their best to stifle their laughter. Class 66, Gu Qinfeng. What about you? Elder Imei turned to look at a red-robed young man again. The red-clothed youth had a devilishly handsome demonic charm. There was a faint, bloodthirsty smile at the corner of his mouth as he sneered arrogantly. Why are you looking at me? If I make a move, the one who will be molested will be Instructor Su's husband. As soon as she said this, the male students of Class 66 silently took a few steps back. Lin Chen wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. What kind of class am I in? It seems that there won't be any substantial progress for now. For the sake of Instructor Su's reputation, we have decided to give this matter a Level 4 mission in the mission hall. If any examinees can find the mastermind behind this or provide relevant evidence, they will be able to obtain mission rewards. Elder Imei's words shocked many of the students present. A Level 4 mission? I heard that the highest mission in the academy is only Level 6. The rewards will probably be very generous. Lin Chun rubbed his chin and his eyes lit up. Then, the Academy's elders went on stage to announce the changes to the special training grounds and the date of the next month's public classes. The Academy's arrangements and important reports were announced during the Academy's monthly meeting. The Academy meeting ended. The students discussed among themselves and dispersed. After a while, many people saw a silver-robed young man bending back and forth in the square, picking up and touching the ground. What is this kid doing? I've never seen his face before. Could he be a new student? Don't go near him. This kid is from class 66. Oh my God. He actually entered class 66 as soon as he joined. What a ruthless person. Hurry up and stay away from him. Once they heard that Lin Shun was from class 66, a large number of inner courtyard students acted as if they had seen the god of plague and hurriedly distanced themselves from Lin Shun. Host has received 611 points of spiritual power, 9,442 points of fire energy, 12,488 points of battle aura essence, 9,724 points of cultivation technique essence, 29,974 points of energy. Lin Shun completely ignored the discussions around him. He picked up attribute light balls crazily and was wild with joy. What is he doing? Lin, who had previously pranked Lin Shun, sized him up curiously. Crack! Lin Shun had just finished picking up attribute light balls when the sound of breaking through shackles came from within his body. Host has advanced to level 7 of spirit detection. The system screen popped up. Before Lin Shun could even look at it, a pair of snow-white, smooth, and round legs appeared in front of Lin Shun's eyes, and a woman's delicate fragrance entered his nose. Lin Shun raised his head and looked. A slender waist wrapped in a black short skirt, and the ample peaks that were about to burst out of her clothes made him subconsciously exclaim in admiration. So fierce. Hearing this, Lin's beautiful face couldn't help but turn pale. The cold and elegant woman in the black dress, standing in front of Lin Shun, instantly had a frosty expression. Her jade-like hand grabbed Lin Shun's arm like a ghost. Whoosh! When her jade-like hand touched Lin Shun's arm, frost appeared everywhere. The bone-chilling ice battle aura froze Lin Shun's entire right arm. The cold aura dissipated. Lin Shun's right arm was frozen, but his left arm flickered with a dark green light as it wrapped around the cold and elegant woman's slender waist. Even though his arm was frozen by the ice battle aura, Lin Shun still smiled and said, "This beautiful big sister, isn't it a bit unreasonable to attack as soon as you come up?" Some of the inner court students who hadn't left yet were dumbfounded. This brat actually dared to take liberties with Lung Yueqi, the Vice Hall Master of the Punishment Hall? Is he ignorant or bold? I see. So this is your trump card. The cold and elegant beauty said indifferently. Looking at Lin Shun, the cold and elegant beauty scolded with a serious expression. Don't be rude. Call me Instructor Lung Yueqi. I'm in charge of your class 66. So she's the class teacher. Lin Shun came to a realization. Who would be able to resist such a beautiful homeroom teacher right from the start? Why aren't you putting away your perverted hands? Lung Yueqi's expression was cold, but Lin Shun only smiled mockingly. That will have to wait for Instructor to unseal me first. Seeing Lin Shun and Lung Yueqi going tit for tat and not giving it at all, Lin's eyes lit up. Smacking her cute cherry lips, Lin clicked her tongue in wonder. He's not even afraid of Demon Lung, as expected of someone who can enter our class. He's indeed a monster. Lung Yueqi's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. She just wanted to test whether this brat's strength was qualified to enter her class. She didn't expect that he would restrain her the moment she attacked. Chapter 69. The power hidden in his left arm has the aura of a dragon. I'm afraid that if I forcefully suppress him, he will retaliate. Interesting. Lung Yueqi unsealed the frost battle aura on Lin Shun's right arm. How long do you want to hug me for? Lung Yueqi said indifferently. Lin Shun smiled embarrassedly and shrugged his shoulders. You can't blame me for this. It was you who made the first move. Lin Shun quickly retracted his left arm and retracted the aura of the green dragon arm. He returned to his harmless smile. You can barely be considered a seedling. In 8 days, I will hold a special class in the classroom. If you dare to be late, you will have to bear the consequences. Lung Yueqi threw a cold glance at Lin Shun and walked away with her long, snow-white legs. In the direction she left, all the students in the inner courtyard moved away, not daring to look her in the eye. Lin Shun, you're amazing. You're the first person to hug that demoness and come out unscathed. Yu Lin bounced over, her beautiful eyes shining with curiosity as she sized up Lin Shun from head to toe. She was full of interest in him. I didn't really hug her. I was just guarding against her. Also, I don't want to play with you. Lin Shun waved his hand, decisively ignoring Yu Lin, and walked away. Don't. It wasn't easy for me to find someone willing to talk to me. Yu Lin moved gracefully and followed Lin Chen's footsteps. Lin Shun maintained a distance of more than 3 meters from her. Seeing that this girl kept following him, Lin Shun asked casually, "Why do the other students run away when they see us? You still don't know about Class 66? Yu Lin was very surprised. She smiled like a flower and stuck to Lin Chen's side, whispering softly. Class 66 is an unusual class in the entire inner courtyard. Those who can enter this class are considered the most troublesome and eccentric students in the academy. At the same time, they also have the best talent. They are called the Ghost Class." Yu Lin's explanation made Lin Chen's mouth twitch. He felt that he was considered the most troublesome type by the vice principal and the bald elder. Chi. A ball of red dust was ignited by Lin Chen's fire attribute battle chi in the air and flew back onto Yu Lin's tender body. She was startled. When did he discover that she had secretly used the 100-flower powder? The powder would make people itch, and it was one of the treasures that she often used to play tricks on others without anyone knowing. However, there are very few ways to remove it. Once infected, you need to soak in a special medicine to remove it. Yu Lin, I've said it before, I don't have time to play with you. You can slowly scratch your itch. Lin Shin laughed mockingly and immediately activated his movement technique to shake off Yu Lin. The young girl was stunned. She stomped her feet angrily and gritted her teeth. She was just about to chase after Lin Shun when a numb and itchy feeling came from her delicate body. Her pretty face instantly flushed red with anger. Oomph. Lin Shun, this lady will remember you. One of these days, I'll make fun of you. Ah, it's so itchy. Lin Shun went straight to the Academy's mission hall. There were a large number of missions listed on the bulletin board. Each mission had a clear level and reward. Some of the more dangerous missions were even categorized as team missions. Lin Shun found the mission that was given to everyone by the Front Yard Council. Investigate the case of Green Moon Forest Instructor Sue. Level 4 mission. Reward, 30,000 credits. Every second counted. After placing his identity Jade token on the mission board and accepting the mission, Lin Shun left. 15 minutes later, in the Blue Moon Forest. Lin Shun found the Blue Moon Forest according to the Academy's map. He wasn't acting without thinking. He had a certain degree of confidence in finding the truth about this matter. Purple Lightning Generation. Lin Shun activated his purple golden eyes, and the world changed greatly. In the half-burnt Blue Moon Forest, the air was still filled with charred ashes and fire tribute energy. A few figures flashed in the Blue Moon Forest. They were also students from the inner court who came to investigate. Lin Shun ignored them and focused on finding clues that would be useful to him. Lin Shun, who had cultivated to the 4th stage of purple golden eyes, had the insight to surpass all the appraisers in the wasteland. If even he couldn't find any clues in the Blue Moon Forest, then the chances of solving this matter would be very slim. This is it. In less than a quarter of an hour, Lin Shun was under a burnt 1,000-year-old tree. His purple-gold eyes caught a trace of ash scattering. This place had been burning for a longer period of time than any other place. This is where the fire started. The culprit started the fire here. However, it's very strange. There are no traces of battle chi. Lin Shun narrowed his eyes. Normally, the culprit who set the entire Blue Moon Forest on fire must be a fire attribute battle chi user. However, he didn't find any traces of fire attribute battle chi here. Could it be that the reason for the fire was to cover it up? Then what was the culprit trying to hide? Lin Shun continued his search. At the edge of the burned area, which was also the central area of the Blue Moon Forest, he made a new discovery. There were traces of ice attribute battle chi in this area. Under the raging fire, even a Heaven's Dipper realm expert would have a hard time discovering the remnants of Isa tribute battle chi. However, under Lin Chen's purple golden eyes, it was clear as day. This Isa tribute battle chi extends all the way out of the Blue Moon Forest. Moreover, the footprints of this Isa tribute battle chi are very small and light. It doesn't seem to have been left by a man. Lin Chen used his movement technique and followed the trail of Isa tribute battle chi. At the end of the trail of Isa tribute battle chi was an icy valley. It was a special training ground belonging to the academy. Only those who paid academic credits could enter to train. It was very helpful for students who cultivated water attribute and ice attribute battle chi to improve rapidly. There are too many students cultivating ice attribute battle chi in this valley. Even if I find them, I won't be able to distinguish them all with my purple golden eyes. Lin Chen frowned. He had lost track of this clue at this point. Lin Chen was about to deactivate his purple golden eyes and sit down to rest when his eyes suddenly lit up. He pushed open a piece of burnt wood on the ground. Amidst the ashes, a shiny pendant appeared. Lin Chen picked it up. It was a blue crystal earring. The crystal was a hexagonal refracting crystal. It was very exquisite. It can't be wrong. This earring has that person's battle chi. It belongs to the original prisoner. His eyes shone brightly. Lin Chen's lips curled into a confident smile. This result is really shocking. The next day, a shocking piece of news spread throughout the inner court. The academy was going to hold a second academy meeting. The academy meeting would only be held after a month. This was the first time in history that it was held twice in a row. Inner court, White Jade Square. More than 8,000 students gathered at White Jade Square. Some students were unable to make it because they were out on missions or cultivating. Elder Ime, bald elder who was in charge of the exam, and the vice president were all present. There were also more than 10 instructors and senior elders who were standing on the stage. The person standing in front of the instructors and elders was actually Lin Chen. I'm very grateful to our vice president for holding this second academy meeting at the last minute. Regarding Instructor Su's case, I have already found a real prisoner. Lin Chen stood on the stage and faced all the students of the academy. He smiled confidently. His words stirred up 1,000 waves. Chapter 70. Wolsh asterisk T, right? Even a Heaven Realm Grand Elder personally made a move and still couldn't catch the culprit. Where did this wild brat come from? This brat seems to be a new student from class 66. To think that he's from class 66. Could it be that what this brat said is true? Many doubts, discussions, and disdain could be heard from below the stage. Class 60 SXS students also cast curious gazes. This new student had just arrived yesterday, and they had yet to truly understand what kind of person he was. As a member of the genius class, they were also curious about the unique potential and ability of Lin Chen, who was assigned to class 66. Can you guys do it? Letting this brat hold an academy meeting for such an important matter? If we can't find the culprit, wouldn't it be a blunder? On the stage, Elder Ime solemnly transmitted his voice to the vice principal and bald elder. Don't worry, old Ime. Let me tell you, when it comes to this brat, you'll never be able to completely see through him. Just leave it to him. He is the first young man in history to reach the peak of True Dragon Mountain. Bald elder laughed strangely. The old man with one eyebrow looked at Lin Chen's back in amazement. His aged eyes were filled with shock. This young man had actually climbed to the top of the mysterious True Dragon Mountain. Today I, Detective Lin, will lead everyone to reconstruct the situation at the scene of the crime. Lin Chen put on a pair of self-made sunglasses and said cheerfully, "Firstly, arson. Everything has a reason and motive. When the fire was discovered, it was already the time when the fire was at its fiercest. However, Instructor Su, who was in the Azure Moon Forest, did not suffer any injuries from the fire. This proves that there was another reason for the fire and not to destroy the evidence." Lin Chen pushed his sunglasses and continued. "Secondly, although Instructor Su Ying's clothes were in a mess when she was found, there was no direct evidence of her being molested by a man. In consideration of Instructor Sue's psychological state, I won't go into the details here. All we need to know is that no one can prove that a man molested Instructor Sue. Speaking of this, Lin Shen looked in a certain direction and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Let's go back to the most primitive and abnormal part of the problem. Who was able to knock out 2 Earthrealm instructors and abduct one of them? Let's overturn our original thoughts. What if this person was a female? Then how many female students in the entire academy can do this? It could be said that Lin Shen's words had shocked everyone to death. His words caused all the inner court students and elders to have expressions of astonishment and disbelief. A female student molesting a female teacher? No one had ever dared to make such a bold conjecture. Could it be? Class 60S6S Yulin's eyes lit up as if she had thought of something. Anyone can talk nonsense, but you've been talking nonsense for so long, and everything is just your personal speculation. Do you have any evidence or clues to prove your speculation? I think you're just spouting nonsense and trying to cheat credits. The 2 white-haired elders held their crutches and looked at Lin Shan with cold eyes as they sneered. Haha, elders from the medicine refinery department, don't be anxious. Didn't I just eat over 1,000 stalks of dragon tin and grass? It's not a big deal. Do you have to be in such a hurry to make things difficult for me? Lin Shen glanced at the 2 elders in disdain. They were so angry that their faces turned red and were about to argue. Enough. Stop talking nonsense. Student Lin Shen, take out your concrete evidence and clues. Otherwise, don't blame me for dealing with you according to the rules. You're the first one who dares to hold an academy meeting without permission. Elder May flicked his sleeves and said with dissatisfaction. The 2 elders from the medicine refinery department looked at Lin Shan with ridicule and retreated to the side. Since I dare to stand on this stage, I'll tell everyone the truth. Back to the topic just now. How many female students are there in our academy who can knock out 2 Earthrealm instructors and abduct Instructor Sue? With Lin Shen's reminder, all the students subconsciously made the connection. There were no more than 5 female students in the inner court who could do this. Suddenly, a portion of the female students' expressions changed slightly. Everyone, there's no need to make guesses among those few people. I'll give everyone another concrete clue. At this moment, Lin Shen opened his palm and an exquisite hexagonal blue crystal earring appeared on his fingertip. All the students present only needed to circulate their battle chi slightly, and they would be able to see the earring's appearance clearly. I'm an appraiser. I used my appraisal skills to pick up this item at the crime scene. I'm sure it was left behind by the original culprit. Lin Shen's gaze suddenly locked onto a certain girl in the crowd. Isn't this Senior Sue Lan's earring? The moment the blue earring appeared, all the students looked in the direction of a certain class. Their gazes landed on a beautiful girl in a light blue dress. Her eyebrows were like snow. Her eyes were like jade. Her figure was exquisite. Her skin was smooth, and her pair of delicate and full breasts were displayed in front of her. She had a tranquil and indifferent temperament, like a hibiscus that just emerged from the water, a blooming flower that was otherworldly and elegant. The beauty's snow-white neck was like an elegant swan. Her delicate ear tip even had a blue earring that was extremely similar to the one on Lin Shen's hand. I heard that Senior Sulan's Miss Sect had a rule to recruit all sorts of beautiful girls. I remember now. There was a rumor that Senior Sulan had a habit of liking beautiful girls. I remember now, too. It seems like Senior Sulan often instigated the juniors not to have boyfriends and not to trust men. Many of the astonished discussions echoed. Even the mentors and elders couldn't help but hold their breaths. This senior's cultivation is at the 3rd level of the Earth Realm. Her strength is one of the few who could knock out 2 mentors. Secondly, the fire was to cover up the traces of ice attribute battle chi that Senior Sulan left behind at the crime scene. After all, it is very dangerous for Heaven Realm elders to discover battle chi remnants, isn't it? Lin Shen pushed his sunglasses and suddenly pointed at Sulan. There is only one truth. Senior Sulan, you are the culprit. Lin Chen's heart was elated. On the second day of entering the Inner Institute, he had already obtained 30,000 school credits. Under everyone's gazes, Senior Su Lan didn't panic in the face of danger and let out a graceful smile. This junior's analysis and deduction are almost perfect. I am impressed. But did Junior forget something? My earring is a pentagonal refracting blue crystal and not a hexagonal one. Senior Su Lan gently removed her earring. Everyone carefully compared the two earrings. The two earrings were 90% similar, but Senior Su Lan's earring was a pentagonal blue crystal, while Lin Chen's earring was a hexagonal blue crystal. The culprit wasn't Senior Su Lan. Lin Chen took a closer look and couldn't help but twitch his mouth. Damn, it can't be. Brother Chen actually had a day where he capsized in the waves. Chapter 71. That's not right. I've already confirmed that the attributes and characteristics of the battle chi are exactly the same as the owner of the earrings. How can I be wrong? Could she have swapped the earrings on the spot? But there's no need for that. Those who know her would definitely know what her earrings look like. Moreover, there are so many teachers and elders here. Lin Chen's mind flashed with various possibilities. At this moment, a mischievous girl's laughter rang out. I know who the owner of this earring is. Everyone looked over. The person who spoke was also from class 66. It was Yu Linlin. If I'm not wrong, Senior Su Lan should have a twin sister, Su Lan. She's also wearing this kind of refractive blue crystal earrings. The elder sister's earring is pentagonal, while the younger sister's earring is hexagonal. Senior Su Lan. Yu Linlin chuckled as he stared at the slender figure behind Su Gang and spoke slowly. Su Lan's expression changed. The beauty behind her was about to leave. I remember too. Senior Su Lan's twin sister. Su Lan's earring is this. When one of the female students spoke, a few of the instructors outside the arena immediately surrounded the two girls. The girl behind Su Lan looked 90% similar to her. She gritted her teeth and glared at Lin Chen angrily. So it's not the elder sister, it's the younger sister. When he saw that the two sisters were in the Disha realm, Lin Chen was enlightened. Su Lan, I'm asking you, when the incident happened, where were you? Why did your earring appear at the scene? Elder Imei asked extremely solemnly. Under his gaze, Su Lan appeared to be flustered and anxious. She wanted to explain. No, Elder Imei, it's not me. Then how do you explain this earring? It's made of the same material as the one your sister wore. Elder Imei, don't blame Lan. I'm the main culprit this time. At the crucial moment, Su Lan stood out and spoke resolutely. Hua. When she said that, all the inner courtyard students had interesting expressions. They were shocked and surprised. It was really the two sisters who did it. If word got out that a female student had kidnapped a female instructor, the entire inner court would be affected. Most importantly, many people were looking at Lin Chen on the stage in amazement. Just where did this kid come from? He had only been in the inner courtyard for a day, and he had already solved the level 4 mission that even the elders were helpless against. This brat actually figured out who the culprit is in just one day, as expected of a transfer student from the inner courtyard. Moreover, he's a genius who can enter Ghost Genius Class 66. He's indeed abnormal. All the students in Class 66 cast different looks at Lin Chen. Some were surprised, some were impressed, some were disdainful, and some were curious. It was very exciting. My name is Su Lan. You have committed the crime of endangering the safety of your instructors. The Miss School that you have established shall be disbanded immediately. No mistakes shall be allowed. As for your crimes, I'll decide them another day. Before the punishment is handed down, if you dare to take a single step out of the academy, even the forces behind you won't be able to protect you. Elder Imei scolded and announced the result. Su Lan turned pale, while Su Lan looked calm. There was a hint of indignation and resentment in her eyes as she looked at Lin Chen. This pretty girl is still glaring at me. This wouldn't have happened if I didn't commit the crime myself. Lin Chen was about to roll his eyes when Elder Imei walked over and announced solemnly. Today, thank you, student Lin Chen, for helping the inner courtyard find the real culprit of this case. Special commendation, 10,000 credits plus the mission reward, a total of 50,000 credits. Little fellow, you climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain during the entrance exam at such a young age. Your future is limitless. Elder May gave a rare, kind smile, and it shocked all the inner courtyard students. This brat actually climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain during the entrance exam because the inner courtyard students were proud and arrogant, and because the news was sealed, no one took the initiative to find out about the entrance exam. After all, that was the business of the outer courtyard students. Even if an exception was made, there were not many students who could be promoted to the inner courtyard. In an instant, countless burning gazes were directed at Lin Chun. All of them were filled with fighting spirit, disdain, and countless doubts. Good heavens, this old fellow made me, Brother Chun, the target of public criticism. Fine, I'll beat one of you up if you come. Lin Chun sneered in his heart, but on the surface he was smiling. Senior, don't take it to heart. It's a small matter, not worth mentioning. Isn't it just True Dragon Mountain? You went up while eating gluten and singing. A small matter? Hearing this, the teachers and elders in the square all twitched their mouths. On the way to the combat skill pavilion, there was a small path in the bamboo forest. You actually climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain. How did you do it? Yu Lin followed behind Lin Chun and asked curiously with her beautiful eyes sparkling. I just said, I went up while eating gluten and singing. Lin Chun looked at the 5,050 credits in his identity jade token and said casually, Then how did you get up there? What's the reason? What's up there? Yu Lin was like a curious baby and asked Lin Chun in annoyance. Maybe it's because I'm handsome. After casually answering, Lin Chun suddenly felt a strong aura around him. He squinted his eyes and put away his identity jade token. He saw that in front of and behind the small path in the forest, there were more than 10 figures. Lin Chun, is it? You're just at the 7th level of the spirit detecting realm. How can you climb to the top of True Dragon Mountain? Gu Chunfeng, this brat is my prey. Don't interfere. Get the F*CK out of my way. I'll be the first to teach this brat a lesson. These people were actually the geniuses of Class 66. Students, if you want my autograph, please line up. Lin Chun smiled casually, relaxed, and leisurely. Brat, don't play with your mouth. The arena is less than 5 miles away from here. Do you dare to pick one of us to fight? This young master wants to see if you really have the ability to climb to the top of True Dragon Mountain. The blood-red-clothed youth, Gu Chinfeng, sneered. Class 66 had always been at odds with each other. They were unruly and had fierce internal conflicts. Now that Lin Chun had climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain, they all locked their target on Lin Chun. No problem, not to mention picking one. Even if all of you come together, there's no problem. What? The geniuses of Class 66 were furious. This new student wanted to overturn the heavens. Not to mention a new student. Even a single student of the academy wouldn't dare to challenge all the students of Class 66 here. Good brat. You got guts. Let's go. See you in the arena. Both sides were on the verge of fighting. Yu Lin clapped his small hands excitedly. There's going to be a good show to watch. The Heavenly Song Academy's arena was built in a valley. Every day, hundreds of students would spar and cultivate here. Battles between strong cultivators were also one of the fastest shortcuts to breaking through the shackles. The inner court was filled with experts, and no one was willing to reject this kind of cultivation environment. However, a strange scene appeared in the Academy's arena today. It caused all the students in the arena to stop fighting. In the middle of the arena, on a large stage, an unprecedented scene appeared. Class 66, which was known as the Genius Class, had never been united. No one was willing to submit to anyone, but today, they actually gathered in the same arena. Moreover, their opponent was only one person, the new student, Lin Chun. Chapter 72. Hey, what kind of lineup is this? Class 60 SXS Madman Gu Chunfeng, Frozen Heart swordsman Xiao Sanqing, and the dual-blade demon brothers are all on stage. Isn't this new student the one who solved Instructor Su's case, Lin Chun? This kid is not simple. I just asked the transfer students in our class. I heard that this kid not only climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain, but also fought hundreds of students alone. He even roasted more than 1,000 portions of dragon tendon grass and ate them as snacks in front of everyone. What the F***CK? More than 1,000 portions of dragon tendon grass. Isn't that more than 100,000 credits? Many of the older students who were sparring in the arena had gathered together. Class 66 was a class that was always the talk of the town, let alone the fact that most of the older students of Class 66 were attacking a new student at the same time. Everyone, come at me together. Don't worry about me. I'm a very casual person. Lin Chin smiled and spread out his hands, as if nothing had happened. A bunch of trash, get out of my way. If I don't destroy this kid today, I won't feel at ease. Gu Chunfeng, who was standing in the front row, was so angry that the veins on his forehead popped out. His feet suddenly shook. Blood-red electric arcs jumped all over his body, and several blood-red lightning bolts burst out along the ground. Corrosive rune, demon overturning earth seal. Raising his palm, the earth element battle aura surrounded by the aura of the runes. Lin Chun slammed his palm on the ground of the arena. A mysterious earth overturning earth seal shook the entire arena with the pure strength of more than 50,000 tiger power, and instantly swallowed up the blood-red electric arcs. With one earth overturning earth seal, Lin Chun flipped the 15 people in the arena into the air. He quickly flew over and chose Gu Chunfeng, who bore the brunt of the attack. You're courting death. Gu Chunfeng, who was flipped in the air, sneered disdainfully. He pulled out a crimson spear with lightning speed. The spear was like a wild dragon emerging from the sea, domineering and fierce. How can my sky-devouring spear be so weak? Gu Chunfeng felt something was wrong as soon as he made his move. He found that his battle aura was greatly restricted. There was a mysterious force in his body that was eroding his battle aura, causing the power of his battle techniques to be greatly reduced. The rest of the Class 66 students realized that they were in the same situation as Gu Chunfeng. They were bewildered and quickly distanced themselves from Lin Chun. Starlight flickered as soul seizing appeared in his hand. Lin Chen's hand spun the spear point in the air, and the afterimage of the spear point was like a large windmill as it spun downwards, smashing the bloody light with a loud bang. Like a hot knife through butter, Lin Chen's spear shattered Gu Chunfeng's attack. Lin Chen's spear was like a swimming dragon as he leaped into the air and sent Gu Chunfeng's blood spear flying. As Gu Chunfeng expelled the energy that was corroding his battle aura, he gritted his teeth and punched out furiously. You're the first to leave. With a sweep of the soul-seizing spear, more than 50,000 tiger power landed squarely on Gu Chunfeng's body, causing him to drop more than 10 resplendent attribute light balls. The moment the attribute light ball flew out, Gu Chunfeng spun in the air and flew out of the arena. The seniors outside the arena all held their breaths, their eyes filled with shock. With Gu Chunfeng's super strength at the first level of the Earth realm, apart from the heaven-defying seniors who could suppress him, no one else could force him out of the arena in just a few moves like this new student. Rip! Just as Lin Chun landed on the ground, the sound of air being torn apart could be heard. A yellow-robed youth had a stern expression as he suddenly drew his sword. He was the first prodigy to shatter the corrosive rune energy that Lin Chun injected into their bodies. Suppressing star sword rain. The youth drew his sword, and sword chi rippled as resplendent starlight shot out in all directions. Every ray of starlight was a sharp sword chi that instantly formed over 100 rays of sword chi. Furthermore, the trajectory of the sword chi was unfathomable. It was a sword art that could be executed at will. Class 60 SXS genius prodigies were all demon-level prodigies, and any one of their sword moves was already at the perfection stage. Lin Chun activated his purple-gold pupils, and the seemingly sharp sword chi that filled the sky actually had hidden loopholes. These extremely fast sword chi were slowed down by at least 10 times in front of Lin Chen's spirit realm mental energy. Sword art? I know it too. The spear stored its spirit, and Lin Chen drew out a dark green sword. The fire turned into lightning, and the lightning contained the power of fire. Arcs of lightning crisscrossed the sword's edge. Slowing rune, myriad lightning thousand June sword. One sword turned into 1,000 swords, and Lin Chen's sword was as fast as lightning. Everyone could only see countless lightning lines flash past, and the starlight sword chi that filled the sky were sliced into pieces. My sword art has slowed down. What's going on? The yellow-robed youth's expression changed greatly. His sword art relied on speed to win, and speed was power. But the moment Lin Chen attacked, his suppressing star sword rain slowed down by more than 10 times, as if it had been stopped. There was no time to take a breather. Lightning struck, and the dark green sword slashed towards the yellow-robed youth's head. He raised his sword to fight, and the two swords danced chaotically as starlight, lightning, and fire exploded. Close combat was Lin Chen's strongest domain. He stabbed out 7 times in an instant, aiming at the yellow-robed youth's neck, eyes, heart, dantian, and other vital points. The yellow-robed youth clenched his teeth and blocked, barely managing to block the 7 fatal strikes. You are the second. Lin Chen took a step and turned around, his sword sweeping through the mountains and rivers, and angrily chopped down on the yellow-robed youth's sword. The ferocious strength of the sword sent the yellow-robed youth flying. The dark red axe brought with it the momentum of splitting mountains and chopped down from behind Lin Chen. Lin Chen withdrew his sword and turned around with a stern expression. The black double-edged axe that suddenly appeared in his hand turned into an afterimage, cleaving rivers and splitting rivers, and colliding with the dark red axe head-on, causing a 100-meter explosion. Lin Chen's momentum was unstoppable. The black double-edged axe chopped down, and the person who had ambushed him was beaten up. The tiger-eyed youth who had been forced back dozens of steps by Lin Chen had a look of disbelief in his eyes. Lin Chen's pure strength was actually slightly above his. Soul-severing, dark exorcism finger, ruling king beheading saber. Dazzling battle skills bloomed in all directions around Lin Chen. He withdrew his hammer and pulled out his saber. With the saber in hand, Lin Chen's killing intent wildly surged. The remaining people of Class 66 had all recovered from the corrosive runes, and they all rushed forward, surrounding Lin Chen. Just the power of the battle skills was enough to cause the entire stage to swirl up with a 1,000-foot-wide energy storm. A quarter of an hour later, the storm passed. The number of people still standing on stage could be counted with one's fingers. The inner courtyard seniors who had witnessed the result felt their scalps go numb. What kind of joke is this? One of the inner yard seniors was shocked by what he saw. Lin Chen had used all kinds of battle skills, including sword techniques, saber techniques, spear techniques, axe techniques, and every single one of them had defeated every single student of Class 66. In other words, Lin Chen had completely defeated every single one of them in the areas they were familiar with, without any suspense. Even though Class 66 was not the strongest class, they were definitely the most talented and had the highest potential in their respective fields. Lin Chen had defeated all of them by himself. What kind of concept was this? On the stage, there were still 2 figures standing. One was Lin Chen, and the other was the famous coward of Class 66, Qin Xiaofeng, who had not dared to make a move until now. Gentle water-type battle chi like bubbles surged all over Lin Chen's body, helping him recover from his injuries. He slowly walked in front of Qin Xiaofeng. The latter's knees were weak, and his teeth were chattering as he spoke with difficulty. Big brother, before I admit defeat, can I ask you a question? Seeing him so timid, Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. Ask. In this world, is there anything you don't know? Qin Xiaofeng's question made Lin Chen's mouth curve into a very coquettish smile. As long as it's something that can be pretentious, There should be nothing I don't know. Chapter 73. Outside the arena, Yu Lin, who did not participate in the battle, covered her red lips as her beautiful eyes trembled slightly. Even for someone as knowledgeable as her, this was the first time she had seen it. Lin Shun had single-handedly defeated all 15 students of Class 66 in their areas of expertise. Didn't this mean that he had the talent of gathering all the geniuses in the class? Isn't this too frightening? This is not a human talent at all. How old is he? Lin's shock also represented the thoughts of the other seniors. They had truly witnessed the rise of an unprecedented prodigy. In the arena, I surrender. Qin Xiaofeng surrendered without any intention to fight. If not for some people in the class forcing him to come, he would not have participated in this battle at all. Qin Xiaofeng's figure trembled and instantly disappeared from the spot. Even Lin Shun was surprised by such a strange movement technique. He glanced sideways. This person's movement technique might only surpass him if he used the true flame purple phoenix wings. In terms of combat skills, Lin Shun was not worried at all. The combat skills dropped by the many candidates he had defeated in the entrance examination were all of the best quality. To Lin Shun now, other than the green combat skills, there were no other combat skills that could attract him. Host has received 30,054 Battle Aura Essence, 41,000 Blood Energy, 12041 Fire Energy, 15,412 Cultivation Essence, and 2 Ancient Bronze Treasure Chests. Lin Shun picked up the attribute light balls that have fallen on the arena. The attribute value of each light ball was unprecedentedly high. Host has opened 2 Ancient Bronze Treasure Chests. Host has received 6,000 Rune Energy, 8,000 Spiritual Power. The host has received a total of 440,000 Battle Chi Essence, 558,000 Chi and Blood, 281,000 Cultivation Soul Essences, 11,000 Spiritual Energy, 76,000 Metal Energy, 69,000 Wood Energy, 70,000 Water Energy, 71,000 Fire Energy, and 59,000 Earth Energy. Host has advanced to level 8 of the Spirit Detecting Realm. The harvest this time was beyond Lin Chen's imagination, especially with the large amount of 5 elemental energy. His chaotic 5 spirit technique had increased by 1 or 2 levels, and his battle aura had skyrocketed. The true water origin scripture stopped circulating, and Lin Chen's injuries recovered to their original state. Lin Chen wasn't completely unscathed when he challenged Class 66 alone. On the contrary, he felt that everyone in Class 66 was extremely strong. However, the fatal flaw was also very obvious. Although it seemed like an intense battle, in reality, every single member of Class 66 was fighting alone. They were like a sheet of loose sand, with no order to speak of, not to mention cooperating. Sometimes they would even drag each other down. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. If those 15 people could form a team, the difficulty of the battle would increase by at least 10 times. These young geniuses are truly terrifying. Wonderful, wonderful. It's really exciting. One person fighting against 15 people from Class 66. This year's freshmen are really arrogant. At this moment, a burst of applause came from outside the venue. 7 students dressed in luxurious robes stood on high ground and looked down at Lin Shun. The person in the lead had 3 purple gold lines engraved on his chest, making him look noble and luxurious. It's actually Song Qingang. What a powerful spiritual pressure. His spiritual force has probably already entered the spirit realm, hasn't it? Spirit realm? Then wouldn't he be able to represent the academy in the Wasteland Alchemy competition? The surrounding inner court students looked at the handsome young man in the lead of the 7 people in amazement and clicked their tongues in wonder. Although Lin Shun hadn't seen the clothes of these 7 people before, it wasn't like he didn't know them. They were all students of the alchemy department. Lin Shun, right? Don't think that you're infallible just because you have a bit of talent. You dare to offend my teacher. Today, I'll let you know that this is the Heavenly Song Academy. There are many people stronger than you. If you're a tiger, you'll have to lie down. If you're a dragon, you'll have to coil up. The handsome young man in the lead looked down at Lin Shan with disdain. He flicked his fingernails and said indifferently. He had a head of mid-parted bangs, a fair face, and a feminine temperament. When Lin Shan saw him for the first time, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This hairstyle, this temperament, he was also a singing, dancing, and basketball talent. Whoever can go up and knock this bullshit freshman to the ground and make him crawl out of the arena, Song Qingheng, will refine 10 top-tier 3rd-level medicinal pills or 2 low-tier 4th-level medicinal pills for him. I'll provide the medicinal ingredients. When Song Qingheng opened his mouth, the entire audience of inner court students immediately went into an uproar. 10 top-tier 3rd-level medicinal pills or 2 low-tier 4th-level medicinal pills. Moreover, the medicinal ingredients would be provided by an alchemist. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that this kind of wealth could rival a country. Finding an alchemist to refine a specific medicinal pill was already an expensive price, and one also needed to prepare sufficient medicinal ingredients for the alchemist. Song Qingheng's condition moved everyone present. He dares to ask for 4th-level medicinal pills. In other words, this guy Song Qingheng has already entered the spirit realm. A hint of surprise appeared in Yu Lin's beautiful eyes. When Song Qingheng saw Yu Lin looking over, a trace of admiration and confidence immediately appeared on his face. The latter curled her red lips and turned her head away. The 15 injured students of Class 66 sat in the resting area and sized up Lin Shun and the students of the alchemy department in surprise. How did this guy provoke the people of the alchemy department? This was the most troublesome force in the inner court. Oh, those old fellows of the alchemy department sent their lackeys to mess with me so quickly? Fine. Since they want to make trouble, then let's turn the world upside down. Brother Chun, can't ask for anything more. The corners of Lin Chen's mouth curved into a smirk. Facing the restless students of the inner court, he took a step forward and announced, "Indifferent to life and death is my attitude towards life. If you don't accept it, then fight is my performance art. Since the seniors of the alchemy department want to play, then I, Lin Shun, will accompany you to the end today. Today, if there are any seniors who don't accept it, then I will beat you until you accept it." Lin Shun crossed his arms in front of his chest and spoke with a provocative and domineering tone, causing a huge wave in the audience. The attitude of indifferent to life and death, the performance art of fighting if you don't accept it. Interesting. Freshman Lin Shun, let me challenge you. Interesting. Freshman Lin Shun is much more arrogant than when I entered the academy. Since he has spoken, then our entire class will attack together. We will exhaust him to death by taking turns. How can we, Class 47, miss out on something like taking turns to fight? Bang, bang, bang. With an aggressive aura, many afterimages swept down from the spectator seats. Counting carefully, there were actually more than 100 people, more than 100 inner court students. The peak of the battle soul realm and the heavens prides of the earth realm were everywhere. If they formed a team, they would be able to sweep away any second-rate force in the wasteland. Ha. Freshman Lin Shun, 80% of our class is here. If we take turns to fight, we can exhaust you to death. I hope you won't be a coward later. A few inner court students couldn't help but raise their heads and laugh wildly. Lin Shun sighed and shook his head. No, I am a person who pays attention to fairness. Everyone was stunned. This brat was more arrogant than anyone else just now. Why did he suddenly shout about fairness now? Oh, scared? What kind of fairness do you want? Song Qingheng sneered and shouted at Lin Shun through the air. Taking turns to fight is too troublesome. For the sake of everyone's convenience, it's better for the entire class to attack together. All the inner court students who stood out were instantly dumbstruck. Chapter 74. Everyone in the class? Are you serious? Song Qingheng's smile gradually froze and became uncertain. Many people thought that they had misheard. They were not Class 66 which was in a mess, with dozens of people joining hands and swarming forward. Even the strongest students in the inner court would not be able to defeat them. I think you're not only arrogant, but also unambitious. Damn, what kind of rotten fish are you, kid? You dare to challenge our entire class? Junior brother, your mouth is quite arrogant. I hope you can still be arrogant later. The seniors leaped up, and in an instant, more than 40 people had jumped onto the stage. Lin Shan was startled, and then he shook his head. Why are there only 40 people? Are you from 2 classes? Then both classes will come up together. The discussion in the arena instantly quieted down. Everyone stared at Lin Chun in disbelief. Challenging 2 classes in the inner court? This is F*King crazy. The students in the inner court were all geniuses among geniuses. There were more than 100 people in the 2 classes in the arena. Throughout the entire inner court, it was utterly impossible for a single person to fight all of them by themselves. The 15 students of Class 66, who were as arrogant as ghosts, could not help but change their expressions. This was no longer a question of arrogance. This was a complete fool's dream. Interesting. I want to see how you will challenge 2 classes in the inner court. Song Qingheng was so angry that he laughed and waved his hand decisively. If you can defeat him, I will double the reward just now. Song Qingheng was rich and imposing. His wave of his hand made the students even more excited. 2 figures hiding in the shadows of the arena quietly appeared, monitoring the people in the arena. Aren't those old fellows from the alchemy department making too much of a ruckus? And that Lin Shun, he wants to challenge 2 classes alone. Is he crazy? Forget it. Let's get ready to attack at any time. Bald Elder told us to take special care of this kid. The 2 of them whispered to each other and then disappeared into the shadows. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone jumped onto the arena. The seniors from the 2 classes and more than 10 other classes also jumped onto the arena. Since you're courting death today, don't blame us seniors for being ruthless. More than 10 seniors took the lead, fearing that others would steal the credit. Within a breath's time, they had surrounded Lin Shun. The distance between the 2 sides was only less than 1,000 meters. Those seniors who didn't have time to go on stage regretted it. Over 100 seniors against a single freshman. Wasn't this an easy task? As long as he went up on stage, he would at least be able to get a share of a 3rd-tier medicinal pill. Seniors, are you all ready? If you're not prepared, then make some preparations. Don't say that I bullied you later. Lin Shin's relaxed laughter made everyone not know whether to laugh or cry. Who was bullying who? It's over. It's over. It wasn't easy for me to find a young master who can play with me. Am I going to fall here? Lin covered his eyes as if he didn't want to see Lin Shin being beaten up. While everyone was looking forward to it, the 15 people from Class 66 were the first to show shocked expressions. Azure Dragon Bloodline, 100% strength release. Lin Shin suddenly roared. As the azure light twined, an azure dragon arm appeared out of nowhere. Boom! A violent dragon's breath was like a giant dragon awakening, dominating the world. Slow rune, corrosive rune. 1 azure, 1 white. 2 talismans appeared in the air, emitting waves that enveloped the entire arena. The movements of more than 120 seniors paused for a moment. At the same time as the 2 talismans appeared in the air, there was also a phoenix cry that reached the 9 heavens. A blazing wave swept across the entire arena like a typhoon. Everyone could only see a purple wave of fire breaking through the air, followed by a series of explosions in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. The ferocious azure dragon arm swung and smashed wildly. The entire arena was shattered in an instant. Lin Shun rushed into the crowd of inner yard students alone and annihilated the entire army. When everyone came to their senses, dozens of seniors were sent flying in all directions. Like meteors falling from the sky, they were sent flying to the spectator seats. Lin Shin's slow rune only delayed for 1/5 of a breath before all the seniors broke free from the restriction of the characteristic rune. But at this time, it was already too late. Lin Shun had already killed his way into the center of the seniors, and all of them were within the attack range of the Azure Dragon Arm. The Azure Dragon Arm curled, and its chi pierced through mountains and rivers, cutting off rivers. With just a wave, it sent dozens of seniors flying out of the arena. With 100% of his bloodline power, Lin Shen's left arm strength had reached 520,000 tiger power. If this pure strength was used in close combat, even a 9th-level Earth Realm martial artist wouldn't dare to underestimate it, let alone these seniors who were only at the initial stage of the Earth Realm and the 9th level of the Battle Soul Realm. With such powerful, pure strength, coupled with the speed of the true flame purple phoenix wings, it was easy for Lin Shun to close the distance. F*CK. This kid is a devil. Retreat quickly. Seeing Lin Chen's majestic and sinister Azure Dragon Arm, some of the seniors were at a loss. They all activated their movement techniques and hated their parents for not giving birth to them with 2 more legs. The Azure Dragon claw sank into the arena, and Lin Chen suddenly raised his hand. The power in the Azure Dragon Arm surged like 10,000 horses galloping. Half of the large arena was flipped over. Lin Shen pushed out with his palm. It was like the hand of a demon god, sending the raised floor of the arena crashing towards the seniors who were trying to escape. Bang! Rumble! The floor of the arena pushed dozens of seniors and ruthlessly crushed them into the spectators' seats, causing the sky to be filled with shattered rocks. Pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, this kid actually hid his strength so deeply. We were all tricked by him. Lin Shun flipped his hand and grabbed out with his palm. The seniors' battle chi defense was as weak as tofu and instantly disintegrated. The airflow collapsed and exploded into a mushroom cloud. 520,000 Tiger Force points crushed all the remaining 40 or so people, sending them flying all over the sky. Their battle chi attacks bombarded Lin Chen's Azure Dragon Arm. The impenetrable defense of the dragon scales made them feel despair. The remaining people joined forces, but they couldn't even break through the dragon scales' defense. Scram! With a palm that could split the galaxy, more than 40 people were sent flying. They had no strength to resist or retaliate. It was as if a colorful meteor shower was falling from the sky. This heavy rain could only be seen by Lin Shun, because the bright lights that fell to the ground were all attribute light balls. The battle had not even started for 10 breaths, and the entire arena was filled with wails and cries of agony and blood. Different from the battle with Class 66, Lin Shun was still merciful to his classmates and only pushed them back. But to these fellows, Lin Shun crippled or injured them. He had no qualms about it. Some of them even had to lie in bed for months to recover. Their injuries were life-threatening. Therefore, the attribute light balls they dropped were even higher than those dropped by Class 66. Chapter 75. Instant Kill. A freshman against 2 classes and 128 seniors. It was actually an instant kill by a freshman. It's too scary. I've never seen such a ferocious and scary guy in the inner yard. Many seniors swallowed their saliva. They were so scared that their teeth were chattering as they sucked in cold air. The 16 prideful students of Class 66 were also convinced of their loss. Lin Shun had convinced them with his absolute strength. Is this guy really a freshman this year? He actually hid so much of his strength when he fought with us just now. Gu Qinfeng, who had always been lawless, revealed a look of fear for the first time. If Lin Shun had used the Azure Dragon Arm just now, there was no doubt that the 15 people in Class 66 would have been carried out of the arena. Facing the remaining 700-plus senior students, Lin Shun took a step forward and let out a thunderous roar. Who else is not convinced? Come at me. With just one sentence, no one dared to accept Lin Chen's challenge in the top genius academy of the Waste region. Even the 2 elders who were hiding in the dark were dumbfounded. No wonder this kid could even alarm old Baldy. The old man specially ordered them to take care of this student. With this kind of talent, He might be able to hold up the sky for the waste region in the future. Without a doubt, this little brother Lin Shun would have a place even in the Spirit State Academy of the 24 domains. Staring at Lin Chen's back, Lin's beautiful eyes were full of splendor. This wild kid's strength is actually so strong? Song Qingheng was uncertain. There was still a trace of fear in his eyes. And you, do you admit defeat? Lin Chen raised his eyebrows. Song Qingheng took a few steps back and sneered. We are honorable alchemists. We are not on the same level as mortals like you. Fighting and killing is not my field. Song Qingheng puffed out his chest with a sense of superiority. Lin Shun, however, snapped his fingers. Since you think you are honorable, then we will use the alchemist method to shut you and those old things behind you up. How about it? Lin Chen smiled coldly. Song Qingheng was stunned. Song Qingheng wasn't the only one who was stunned. Even class 66 and most of the older students were stunned. Could it be that he is also... Lin covered her red lips in disbelief, and her gaze became especially fervent and expectant. You and I will compete in alchemy. The loser will have to obey the winner's request and pay the other party 50,000 credits. How about it? Do you dare to accept? Lin Shun waved his hand domineeringly. The moment he opened his mouth, he bet all his 50,000 credits. You're also an alchemist? Interesting. Ha ha ha. When I was 8 years old, I started learning alchemy hand seals. When I was 14 years old, I became an official alchemist. When I was 17 years old, I became a rank 2 alchemist. When I entered Heavenly Song Academy at the age of 20, I was already a rank 3 alchemist. Brat, what qualifications do you have to compete with me? Since you want to give me credits, then I won't stand on ceremony. Song Qingheng raised his head and laughed maniacally. Refining medicine? In the entire Heavenly Song Academy, other than a few senior elders, there was no one among the many students who could compete with him. Since you are so confident, tomorrow afternoon, in this arena, we will both prepare our credits. You and I will decide the victor. Good. I will personally teach you a lesson on behalf of Master. I will let you see clearly who is the king in the academy, who is the one who controls the entire academy's lifeline. No one who dares to offend the alchemy department will be able to climb up. The two of them hit it off, and the older students fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air. In Heavenly Song Academy, credits were especially precious. The price of a top-notch green rank battle skill was only between 4,000 to 7,000 credits. These two people bet 50,000 credits in one go. This was a huge gamble. He is proficient in all kinds of battle skills. And he also knows how to refine medicine? Is he still a freaking human? It's fake, right? Everyone in class 66 looked at each other, revealing a horrified expression as if they had just discovered a monster. There will be a good show tomorrow. Song Qingheng versus the freshman Lin Shun. And it's a competition of refining medicine. This Song Qingheng is making things difficult for Lin Shun. It's most likely because he ate the dragon tendon grass during the entrance exam. What? Ate the dragon tendon grass? This thing is worth more than 100 credits. Who would eat it directly? You don't know this, but this brat ate the dragon tendon grass as if it was his meal. I heard he roasted more than 1,000 dragon tendon grass. He's crazy. More than 1,000? The older students discussed enthusiastically. Some people had already left the arena, waiting for tomorrow's good show. Those older students who were beaten half to death by Lin Shun could only leave with the help and arrangement of the elder in charge of the arena. Song Qingheng sneered and left with the alchemy department's older students. However, what happened next left everyone scratching their heads in confusion. Lin Chen began to pick up items on the arena. A large number of attribute light orbs and even a few treasure chests floating in the air were picked up by him. Host has received 15,000 Battle Chi Essence, 11,000 Cultivation Soul Essence, 39,000 Chi and Blood, 947 Spiritual Energy, and Fire Energy. Host has received an Ancient Bronze Treasure Chest. Open Treasure Chest to receive 7,500 Rune Energy. Host has opened a Crystal Treasure Chest to receive 150,000 water energy. Host has opened a fine silver treasure chest to receive. Level 4 pill recipe purple azure heaven soul pill. Host has received a total of 900,000 points of battle chi essence, 771,000 points of blood essence, 387,000 points of cultivation method essence, 16,000 points of spiritual energy, 98,000 points of metal energy, 99,000 points of wood energy, 80,000 points of water energy, 81,000 points of fire energy, and 91,000 points of earth energy. Host has advanced to level 9 of the spirit detecting realm, absorbing large amounts of battle chi essence. Boom! Lin Chen's battle chi was like a deluge of heavenly flowers blooming around him, forming 5 battle chi lotuses with the corresponding attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The entire arena was instantly stirred up by a violent wind. Battle chi is psychic, transforming into a form and condensing the soul. This is the sign of him breaking through to the battle soul realm. Yu Lin cried out in alarm as he looked at the 5 battle chi lotuses circling around Lin Chen in disbelief. The 5 battle chi lotuses erupted with an abyss-like suction force, sucking in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the arena, forming a huge funnel. His battle chi can actually have 5 attributes at the same time. What a vigorous battle chi! Just what level is this Lin Chen's mental cultivation method at? A hint of shock flashed across Gu Qinfeng's eyes. The momentum of his breakthrough to the battle soul realm was extremely strong, but compared to Lin Chen, it was simply insignificant. That's not right. When he fought with us, he was only at the 8th level of the spirit detecting realm. How long has it been? And he has already started to enter the battle soul realm. In less than a quarter of an hour, Lin Chen's 5 lotuses spun in the air as if they were alive. They turned into substance and were brilliant and flourishing. It was absorbed into Lin Chen's dantian. At this time, the sea of aura floating in Lin Chen's dantian had already condensed into a crystal-like refractive crystal. Is this the battle soul realm? Battle chi has turned into a substance and can be used to fight. Lin Chen felt his battle chi cultivation and discovered that it was more than 10 times stronger than before. Chapter 76. The same battle skill. If the current Lin Chen were to release it again, it might be 100 times stronger than when he was in the spirit detecting realm. All of this was due to the breakthrough in cultivation and mental cultivation method. Now, Lin Chen's primal chaos 5 spirit arts had truly entered the large success stage. Host has advanced to the battle soul stage. At this time, the system screen popped up, listing out Lin Chen's information. Host, Lin Chen cultivation, battle soul stage 1 limit, 68,500 tiger power. Chi and blood. 3. 592 million points. Battle chi essence. 1. 894 million points. Mental force. 67,200 points. Cultivation method soul essence. 752,000 points. Mental cultivation method. Primal chaos 5 spirit arts. 55%. Cultivation method. Heavenly spirit pill transformation method. 8 desolation mysterious fire. True water return method. 37%. Demon fighting 4 kings seal. Taisher holy scripture. 5%. Special treasure. True flame purple phoenix wings. 8%. Bloodline energy. Azure dragon bloodline. 761 points. Purple gold pupil bloodline. 10,000 points. Characteristic rune. Slow rune level 1. Corrosion rune level 1. Charging rune level 1. Rune energy. 15,000 points. Various elemental energy. Fire element 331,000 points. Earth element 288,000 points. Wood element 290,000 points. Metal element 280,000 points. Water element 454,000 points. System, I want to use 2/3 of the cultivation method soul essence to cultivate Taisher holy scripture. Consumed 500,000 cultivation method soul essence. fusing Taisher, Holy Scripture. A large amount of mental memories poured into Lin Chen's mind. His control and cultivation method of mental force had reached a new level. At the same time, he discovered that the Taisher Holy Scripture was not simply a cultivation manual for mental force. It also included defensive and offensive methods for mental force. Lin Shun, who was fusing with Taisher Holy Scripture, directly sat cross-legged on the stage. Everyone was confused. This brat was incomparably spirited one moment, and then there was no movement the next. His actions were completely unpredictable. Several hours had passed. In the outside world, it was equivalent to a night. However, in the Heavenly Song Academy, there was no distinction between day and night. It was daytime. Lin Chen's skill proficiency soared again. This time, his Genesis Holy Scriptures proficiency reached 20%. Urging his spiritual power, Lin Shun recited an incantation, and a snow-white flying sword floated in front of him. This spiritual flying sword, condensed from spiritual energy, can be used as one of my attack methods. Lin Shun was very satisfied with his harvest this time. His overall strength had increased by more than a few times. After Lin Shun put away the spiritual flying swords, he used another 80,000 points of cultivation method essence to fuse with the newly obtained rank 4 pill recipe, Heaven's Soul Purple Azure Pill. Just like that, Lin Shun stayed in the ring until the appointed time with Song Qingheng. More and more people gathered in the arena. There were more than 3,000 seniors alone. This kind of top-notch alchemy competition was something one could only come across by chance. One might not even be able to see it once in 2 or 3 years in the inner court. This time, 90% of the instructors and elders of the medicine refinery department were present. Old Man Qing, it's rare to see you here. A kind-looking old man with a walking stick was sitting in the arena's auditorium. This is a competition held by my personal disciple. Why wouldn't I come? The old man in green stroked his beard and smiled. When he looked at Lin Shun, a trace of coldness flashed through his eyes. I heard that this Lin Shun caused some big trouble in the exam. Did he provoke you, old man? Another gray-robed old man opened his mouth. The seniors sitting in the front row didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Lung Yunting, Qing Huan, Tian Xian. The 3 grand elders who were in charge of the alchemy department had actually been alerted by the competition between 2 students and had come out. Lin Shun opened his eyes and stood up to look around. Everyone is here. Seeing the elders and instructors of the medicine refinery department who had appeared in the exam a few days ago, Lin Shen's mouth curved into a smile as he had expected. By the way, how many trump cards does this boy have? He knows how to appraise treasures, calculate fortune, and even refine medicine? The vice dean, who was occupying 1,000 feet above the arena, clicked his tongue in amazement as he held the information about Lin Shun in his hands. This boy's mental strength is deep and restrained. It seems to be even more profound than Song Qingheng's. This time those old guys have found an iron plate. Bald Elder was drinking a mouthful of fine wine on the side. He sat on the clouds and looked at the arena with ridicule. Today, Song Qingheng was wearing a white robe. He was beaming with joy. His elegant and handsome appearance attracted the coquettish glances of many female students. Song Qingheng seemed to have felt the admiring gazes from outside the arena. He patted his chest confidently towards a red-clothed girl in the auditorium and said with a confident smile, Lin, this time, I will let you see that I, Song Qingheng, am a man worthy of you. Yu Linlin rolled her eyes outside the arena. Then, she waved her small fist mischievously and shouted with a smile, Little brother Lin Shun, do your best. Get rid of that narcissist. Song Qingheng gritted his teeth when he saw the girl he admired cheering for Lin Shun. He laughed sinisterly and waved his hand. A huge purple light pill furnace appeared. He even took out Elder Qing Zhao's purple sun pill furnace. It seems like Song Qingheng is going to do his best this time. Speaking of which, does that new student know how to refine pills? When the purple light pill furnace appeared, some of the older students had serious expressions. The students of the alchemy department had faces full of envy. Lin Shan casually took out an ordinary Tier 2 pill furnace from his spirit storage ring. This almost made the people of Class 66 laugh out loud. Is this brat playing with us? Who knows? Today, their elders as witnesses. If he loses, he will have to obediently hand over 50,000 credits. It was a rare gathering of the entire Class 66. Those who did not participate in the battle with Lin Shan last time were very curious. Was this new student really as scary as the rumors said? On the arena, there were instructors from the alchemy department present. For this alchemy competition, the ingredients for the pill formula must be prepared by yourself. Refinement time, 5 days. The grade and effect of the pills refined by both parties will be the standard. The one with the higher grade or quality will win. The loser will fulfill one request of the other party and pay 50,000 credits. The gray-robed instructor, standing in the middle of the arena, glanced at the two of them. Both parties nodded. The instructor immediately announced, "If there are no problems, then we will begin immediately." Boom! The moment the start was announced, a spiritual hurricane erupted throughout the entire arena. It could be heard clearly in the arena. Song Qingheng's eyes were sharp and his hands were fast. He took out more than 40 types of Tier 3 herbs and 3 types of Tier 4 herbs from his spirit storage ring. Heaven, Earth, Dark Yellow, Universe, Fighting Spirit. His 10 fingers moved rapidly. His spiritual power turned into countless spiritual threads and enveloped the various herbs. Clang! Song Qingheng's hand slapped on the top of the pill furnace. The spiritual power condensed by the alchemy hand seals was injected into the pill furnace. The herbs began to fly into the pill furnace one by one. Streaks of battle aura pill seals were catalyzed by spiritual power. They tore apart the green spirit sunflower's vines and the blood caltrop flower's roots, and then removed the colorful energy in one go. Inside the pill furnace, the essence of the herbs was preserved. Not a single bit of energy was wasted or spilled. It is indeed Old Man Xing's green fighting spirit soul seal. This skillful technique already has a bit of the taste of a master alchemist. Elder Xiantian, one of the 3 elders sitting in the back row, gave a rare praise. Many alchemy instructors were ashamed of their inferiority. They exclaimed repeatedly and even applauded. Chapter 77. Elder Qing Huan nodded his head in satisfaction. This was something that his disciple had done for him. Song Qingheng's alchemy skills were already very close to the level of a true 4th-stage alchemist. I wonder what kind of alchemy hand seals that brat will use. Old Man Xing's Battle Spirit Cyan Soul Seal is at the peak of the green rank. That purple sun pill furnace also has a huge boost in alchemy. Not to mention the students. Even among the Academy's instructors, there are less than 5 alchemists who could defeat Qingheng. Grand Elder Tian Xian and Lung Yunting both felt that it would be difficult for Lin Shan to defeat Song Qingheng this time. Whether it was experience, mental power, alchemy hand seals, or alchemy cauldron, Song Qingheng had won. He folded his 10 fingers and formed a seal with both hands. The green battle chi seal seeped into the 4th-stage medicinal ingredient in the alchemy cauldron, the heavenly bone blood pair. Without destroying any energy, Song Qingheng shouted, and his hand seals suddenly sped up. 3 layers of green battle chi seal surrounded the heavenly bone blood pair and began to fuse it with the 10 other medicinal ingredients. Condensed spirit liquid. Out. Song Qingheng's hand seals changed again. In an instant, he had formed more than 10 hand seals. The essence of the medicinal ingredients began to fuse together and turned into a fist-sized energy essence. Song Qingheng's alchemy hand seals were as smooth as flowing water, making people unable to take their eyes off him. On the other side, the people from Class 66 and a few seniors were staring at Lin Shan. He had already lost in the alchemy cauldron, and he didn't know the level of his mental power. Most importantly, he hadn't revealed his alchemy hand seals. Everyone wanted to see what kind of trump card Lin Shan had to challenge Song Qingheng. However, he unexpectedly walked to Song Qingheng's side and revealed a bright smile. It was very coquettish. Seeing Lin Chen's bright smile, all the instructors and elders who participated in the exam felt their hearts tighten. Damn it, this kid is going to cause trouble again. That day when he was roasting gluten at the mouth of the volcano and accepting the exam results, this kid's smile was just as coquettish as now. Lin Chun set up the grill and took out more than 100 dragon tendon grass from his system. He placed them not far from Song Qingheng and started to add ingredients. Dragon tendon grass? This kid really still has some left. Damn it, brat, you were indeed dishonest during the assessment. How dare you play with this old man? Green illusion, Qi rose from the spectators' seats, glaring angrily at Lin Chun. Lin Chun, elder, how can you say that? It's been a few days since the assessment. Maybe I bought these dragon tendon grass. Or maybe I went to collect them myself. Lin Chun smirked with a "what can you do to me" look. He even put a skewer of roasted gluten in front of his nose and sniffed it with intoxication. Clicking his tongue, he praised, fragrant, so fragrant. Mother of asterisk cur, you dare to provoke this old man. Qing Huang glared at him, her veins bulging. The other elders who had accepted Lin Chen's test result together with Elder Qing Huan on that day were all boiling with battle qi, ready to explode at any moment. However, Lin Chun seemed to be doing it on purpose. He happily tasted the roasted gluten in front of them, causing some of the older students to feel their scalps go numb. Old man Qing, are you trying to ruin your disciples' alchemy competition? It's not the time for the assessment now, and you don't have any evidence. Everything is in vain. If you cause trouble now, you'll be in trouble, Lung Yunting said coldly. Lung Yunting said coldly. Qing Huan pulled a long face and sat back down, suppressing her anger. Many of the older students were puzzled. What was going on? Roasted dragon tendon grass in the alchemy competition with Song Qingheng? It seems that the rumor that little brother Lin Chun ate more than 1,000 roasted dragon tendon grass during the assessment is true. How did he take away so much dragon tendon grass under the scrutiny of the elders? Lin's curiosity about Lin Chun skyrocketed. Song Qingheng was stimulated by the aroma of the roasted dragon tendon grass. He almost lost his mind and failed. You want to use roasted dragon tendon grass to distract me? What a despicable savage. Let me teach you a lesson on behalf of my master. Song Qingheng calmed himself down and continued to refine pills. He could stay calm, but some of the older students couldn't. Lin Chun, do you have any manners? How dare you speak such arrogant words and disrespect Elder Qing Huan? Senior Qingheng, do your best. Cripple this despicable guy. That's right, Senior Song. Do your best. Take his 50,000 credits and show him who's boss. Some of the senior students were shouting excitedly in the audience seats. Among them, there was no lack of older students who wanted to curry favor with Elder Qing Huan and the others. The grand elders of the alchemy department controlled the lifeline resources of the academy. If they could gain their favor and appreciation, they would be able to obtain many benefits in terms of alchemy resources in the future. For a moment, the entire audience was filled with a wave of denouncing Lin Chun. With everyone's support, Song Qingheng seemed to be glorified. He sneered arrogantly. Lin Chun, do you see this? This is the foundation of my alchemy department. You may be an alchemist, but you are definitely not my match. If you surrender now, hand over your 50,000 credits, and kneel down in front of my master and admit your mistakes, my master might be magnanimous and let bygones be bygones. If not, you are courting death. Song Qingheng warned Lin Chun in a tone that sounded like he was giving alms. Everyone in Class 66 saw this. They were all curious. With Lin Chun's attitude and character, he definitely wouldn't let others humiliate him like this. How would he refute this situation? Under everyone's gazes, Lin Chun slowly ate the roasted gluten. Then, Senior Song Qingheng, you are about to condense your spirit. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best. What made everyone's jaws drop was that Lin Chun was actually waving his roasted gluten while cheering for Song Qingheng. What kind of operation is this? There is actually someone who is cheering for his opponent? Brother, uncle, understand the situation. You're the one who's competing with others. You are still cheering for someone else? Is Lin Chun F** king arrogant? Or are 50,000 credits stacked on the streets? The next scene made everyone even more dumbfounded. No one understood what was going on. Yes, it's time to condense the spirit. First, draw out the essence of the heavenly bone blood pair, then condense the other herbs together. The spirit condensation is a success. Quickly remove the final state of the herbs. Use the class 3 dire beast core to drive the energy of all the class 3 herbs to condense the pill. Finally, fuse the essence of the class 4 herbs. This Lin Chun was actually giving Song Qingheng on-the-spot guidance. Moreover, he was so angry that his neck was red. He looked like he was working hard. If he wasn't standing on the stage, who would have thought that he was Song Qingheng's opponent in the alchemy competition? What made people's scalps go numb was that the instructors and elders of the alchemy department, and even Song Qingheng, could see that some of Lin Chen's guidance in alchemy was actually correct. The minds of all the students in class 66 couldn't wrap their heads around it. They were known as the genius class. What kind of unimaginable and strange things have they not done before? But today, compared to Lin Fan, that was nothing but a fart. Chapter 78. What is going on? I've really king opened my eyes today. He's not just a prodigy, he's a famous prodigy in the world of prodigies. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Amazing. Ha ha ha. Even if this Lin Chun loses the competition today, I'll still call him Big Brother. The prodigies of class 66 all gave Lin Chun a thumbs up. On the other hand, Lin Chun was not teaching Song Qingheng alchemy because he had nothing better to do. The higher Song Qingheng's alchemy speed and efficiency, the more spirit attribute light balls he would drop. Up until now, he had dropped 9 spiritual energy light balls. Lin Chun took them all, and his spirit attribute increased by 900 points. This speed was hundreds of times faster than cultivating the Taisher, Holy Scripture. How could he not work hard with these benefits and the speed of his attribute increase? Lin Chun couldn't wait to give Song Qingheng a cheerleading dance on the spot. The guidance he gave me was actually correct. Song Qingheng himself was even more dumbfounded. What was going on? His opponent was giving him guidance? Cheering him on? Was he hinting that his alchemy skills were higher than his? The seniors had yet to recover from Lin Chen's series of actions. He took out another violin. At this moment, Lin Chun smiled. His smile was very flirtatious. Flirtatious. At this moment, the seniors were all shocked. CK. What was he trying to do now? Friends who haven't sent flowers before, please send flowers to Senior Song Qingheng. Friends who haven't applauded, please give Senior Song Qingheng a round of applause. In order to celebrate Senior Song Qingheng's success in refining a tier 4 pill, I, Lin Chun, would like to present a song to Senior Song Qingheng to express my endless admiration and respect for Senior Song Qingheng. A crazy thought flashed through everyone's mind at the same time. He must be crazy. It's so lonely to be invincible. It's so empty to be invincible. A violin was played, and a loud and clear voice resounded throughout the entire arena. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched fiercely. Alone at the peak, the cold wind constantly blows past me. Who can understand my loneliness? Crazy. This guy must be crazy. Many senior students were dumbfounded. How could there be such a person in this world? Not only were you cheering for your opponent, you even played a song for him. Most importantly, it was quite heartfelt and pleasant to the ears. Looks like Baldy and the others have misjudged him this time. This Lin Chun is only SOSO. Elder Lung Yunting, who was sitting in the back row, shook his head and laughed. Things aren't that simple. Old Ting, you've become muddle-headed. The gray-robed old man's profound heaven realm eyes lit up as he sized up Lin Chun with great interest. This brat seems to be... No, look again. Lung Yunting seemed to sense something and immediately sat back down. Maybe he doesn't care about the 50,000 credits? After all, this brat can eat more than 1,000 stalks of dragon tenon grass. That's the only explanation. Half of the refining time has passed. Other than the alchemy furnace, he hasn't used anything else. Ha ha. I guess he saw how powerful Senior Song Qingheng's alchemy skills are and felt that he has no chance of winning. Song Qingheng himself was dumbfounded. He thought that Lin Xin was going to do some mental attack or something. He was so scared that he was ready to call the elders to prevent Lin Xin from fooling around. But he didn't expect that he really just played a normal song. How lonely is being invincible? It's so nice to hear. Yu Linlin looked at Lin Shan with admiration. Her beautiful eyes flashed with unprecedented strong emotions. Maybe it was a girl's intuition, but she roughly knew what kind of person the young man on the stage was. As long as the competition wasn't over, no one knew what he would do. My loneliness, endless loneliness. After the song ended, the audience actually started to applaud. It wasn't clear whether they were applauding for Lin Shun or Song Qingheng. How lonely is being invincible? This song is really compatible with Senior Song Qingheng. Senior Song Qingheng has been invincible in alchemy ever since he entered the academy. He really lives up to the word invincible. Hey, Lin Shun, since you already know the difference between you and Senior Song Qingheng, why don't you just admit defeat? Some of the older students were clamoring. Even Song Qingheng himself enjoyed it very much. He felt comfortable in his heart. This kid doesn't seem so annoying. This song suits my identity. I like it, sigh. Others laugh at me for being crazy. I laugh at them for not being able to see through me. What a bunch of muggles. Lin Chin shook his head and laughed. He saw that Song Qingheng still had a silly smile on his face. Lin Chin raised his eyebrows playfully and said, "What are you laughing at? I'm talking about you muggles." "What did you say?" Song Qingheng returned to his original state in a second. He stared at Lin Chun gloomily. As expected, he still hated this guy. Just do it to the death. Lin Chun casually picked up the last spiritual attribute light ball that Song Qingheng had dropped and absorbed it. He walked towards his own alchemy furnace. With a wave of his hand, dozens of heavenly and earthly treasures appeared in a row. Lin Xin pulled them through the air and threw them into the alchemy furnace. Clasping his hands together, Lin Chin's spiritual power suddenly exploded. Afterimages appeared one after another. Lin Chin's hands quickly formed hand seals. His 4 fingers joined together, and hundreds of alchemy seals were sent into the alchemy furnace. The battle chi alchemy seals spiraled around all the medicinal ingredients like a spirit spring. They washed the numerous medicinal ingredients that were thrown into the alchemy furnace again and again. As Lin Shun formed the hand seals, he drew a line with his fingertips. The battle chi alchemy seals smoothly removed some of the impurities in the stems of the medicinal ingredients. It was done smoothly and smoothly. This is... What a skilled technique. How can a young man have such skills? Where did this little bastard come from? The 3 grand elders of the alchemy department cried out in shock at the same time. The alchemy department instructors also became serious and shocked. Until Lin Shun made his move, no one thought that he could contend against Song Qingheng. Hey, littling, what are they surprised about? Yu Linlin moved to the side of an alchemy department girl and asked curiously. Although the girl was afraid of Yu Linlin, she still explained seriously. It's the degree of familiarity with the alchemy hand seals. This freshman's alchemy hand seals have already reached the acme of perfection. It would take at least a few decades to 100 years of immersion in one alchemy hand seal to reach this level. At this time, the system showed that Lin Chin's spiritual power attribute had already reached 81,200 points. In terms of spiritual power alone, he was already at the peak of the middle stage of the spirit realm. Song Qingheng and Lin Shun were not on the same level at all. Lin Shan began to throw in 2 types of 4th grade heavenly treasures at the same time. His hand seals suddenly changed again, and his spiritual power surged violently. It was several levels higher than before. An obscure and mysterious battle chi alchemy seal with blazing heat was injected into Lin Chin's 2nd grade alchemy furnace. The temperature suddenly rose. Along with the temperature, the expressions of the three Grand Supreme Elders also rose. Top of the green rank? No, it's far more than that. Could be the green rank. Elder Qing Huan's old face trembled violently a few times. Chapter 79. Luckily, I collected a lot of heavenly treasures when I participated in the test. Otherwise, I would really be like a chef who can't cook without rice. However, this purple azure heaven soul pill recipe also came at the right time. Lin Chen secretly rejoiced. His original plan was to only have one type of fourth-tier pill recipe, and its quality might not be able to surpass Song Qingheng's pill. But as long as the newly obtained purple azure heaven soul pill 114 was successfully refined, it would definitely crush the opponent. Lin Chen's abnormality on the stage was only noticed by the few alchemists present. His alchemy hand seals changed unpredictably. Sometimes it was as fast as lightning, and sometimes it changed the attributes of his battle chi. It dazzled everyone who saw it. How old is he? How can he have such a high proficiency in alchemy hand seals? My green soul battle spirit seal only reached its current level after 10 years of silence. He can actually freely change the order of refining the medicinal ingredients while using the alchemy hand seals, and can even refine dozens of medicinal ingredients at the same time. Song Qingheng, who had already entered the pill condensation stage, couldn't help but tremble. His eyes flickered as he pondered. The gap between alchemy is not so easy to close. Even if your alchemy hand seals are cultivated to the peak, it's at most a high-level green rank. In addition, your alchemy furnace and my purple sun furnace have heavenly treasures. Let's see how you're going to compete with me in the end. After confirming that the grade of Lin Chen's alchemy hand seals did not surpass his own, Song Qingheng let out a sigh of relief. However, it was a different story for the three grand elders in the audience stands. They were the best alchemists in the wasteland, and had already faintly touched the threshold of fifth-tier alchemists. It was impossible for them not to have noticed Lin Chen's sudden change in alchemy hand seals. It can't be wrong. The alchemy hand seals that this brat changed in the middle of the process are definitely not the spiritual pressure that an ordinary green rank hand seal can release. But it's impossible. A brat who hasn't even reached the age of 18. Let's not talk about how he obtained the alchemy hand seal. How could he so easily cultivate the green step seal? Each kind of alchemy hand gesture requires different spiritual energy and battle chi. Unless you've cultivated both alchemy hand gestures to the extreme, if you switch between the two kinds of hand gestures without permission, you'll suffer from a severe backlash or even suffer a permanent spiritual injury. Lung Yunting and Tian Xian looked at each other and saw the shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. On the other hand, Elder Qing Huan's face was as gloomy as a pool of stagnant water. Green-ranked alchemy hand seals. I don't have this kind of collection in the entire academy. I don't believe that a wild brat can take out this kind of foundation. Maybe he just used some special secret method to temporarily increase his mental strength. In the front row of the auditorium, I didn't expect him to really know how to refine pills. Perhaps he is the strongest existence in our class. Yu Linlin stared at Lin Chun expectantly. The splendor in her beautiful eyes became more and more intense. Time flew by. Lin Chun refined the fourth-grade pills with the Heavenly Spirit Pill Transformation Method without any difficulty. He didn't even make a single mistake. 2/3 of the time had passed. Lin Chun was in the stage of condensing the pills. More and more seniors gather in the arena. At the beginning, there were more than 6,000 people. Most of them were here to see the results. When he entered the stage of condensing the pills, there was almost a 90% chance that he would succeed. At this time, people with discerning eyes could see that Lin Chun had completely defeated Song Qingheng in terms of alchemy skills. Both of them were refining fourth-grade pills. The former used a top-grade green step alchemy hand seal and a fourth-grade fine-grade alchemy furnace. The latter only used a middle-grade green step alchemy hand seal and a second-grade alchemy furnace. The difference between them was obvious. Lin Chen's talent is monstrous. If it weren't for the limited resources, I'm afraid he would have already surpassed Song Qingheng. How old is he? He's still a freshman. In the future, it will only take him 2 or 3 years to surpass Song Qingheng. And this kid is not bad. Even if he loses the competition, I plan to take him in as my disciple. While many of the instructors of the alchemy department were very optimistic about Lin Chen, in the sky above the arena, a small cloud of red clouds condensed. A strong pill fragrance lingered in the arena. Song Qingheng patted the pill furnace, and a pill that shone with a light green light soared into the sky. This is the pill cloud when a 4th grade pill is born. The students of the alchemy department stared at the pill cloud above Song Qingheng's head with fanaticism and admiration. This was the ultimate goal they had worked hard for when they entered the academy's alchemy department. Ha ha! My cloud movement wind spirit pill has been successfully concocted. It is a low-grade 4th grade pill and can greatly increase the cultivation of wind-attributed battle chi. There's a certain chance that it can help wind-attributed martial artists break through from the 9th level of the battle soul realm to the earth realm. Song Qingheng raised his cloud wind spirit pill up high. A strong wind blew, and the pill cloud enveloped him. At this moment, it was as if he was the main character of the entire arena. When the seniors and instructors heard about the effects of the cloud wind spirit pill, they were both stunned and amazed. Many of them cast their fanatical gazes over. It could help wind attribute martial artists increase their cultivation, and it also had the effect of breaking through the bottleneck of the earth realm. Even if everyone was a genius among geniuses, it was not easy to break through the bottleneck between the battle soul realm and the earth realm. Many talented martial artists had spent their entire lives, but they could only reach the earth realm. Therefore, if this pill was to be sold in the Academy's pill pavilion, the price would be at least 30,000 credits. Elder Qing Huan heaved a sigh of relief. A gratified smile appeared on his old face. Luckily, this kid didn't lose this old man's face. Senior Qingheng is invincible. Senior Qingheng is the strongest. The students of the alchemy department were fighting to be the first to shout with flushed faces and thick necks. Lin Chen, did you see that? How can that lousy pill furnace of yours surpass my cloud spirit wind speed pill? Quickly kneel down and apologize to my teacher. Song Qingheng laughed arrogantly. Who would have thought that Lin Chen's shout would be like a thunderbolt? Noisy. Shut your dog mouth. Do you really think that you are invincible? Lin Chen's words instantly stunned him. He slowly stood up and stood in front of the pill furnace. His hands moved rapidly, forming the last pill refining hand seal. 8 desolate mystic flame, fire tempering 4th layer. Boom! On Lin Chen's tier 2 pill furnace, 4 layers of orange-red imprints suddenly appeared. Each red imprint was like a heaven-suppressing divine imprint. Mental pressure filled the entire arena, emitting a pure energy that could purify the heaven and earth's spiritual chi. Then, it surged into the pill furnace with a blazing hot current. What is this? What a powerful pill imprint. It's so imposing that it can even suppress my mental energy. I've never seen such a domineering pill imprint. What grade is it? The orange-red pill imprint's domineering aura caused the sky to rumble with thunder. The powerful mental pressure caused many seniors to feel suffocated and dizzy. Song Qingheng looked at the domineering 4-layered pill imprint in disbelief. He actually had such a terrifying pill refining hand seal. Chapter 80. When the 4-layered pill seal appeared, Bald Elder and the 3 Supreme Elders, who were floating in the air, had a drastic change in their expressions. With such power, it must be a green-ranked alchemy hand seal. There's no doubt about it. Lung Yunting was shocked. No matter how strong a green-ranked alchemy hand seal was, it was impossible to create such a terrifying aura. Birth of the pill. The 4-layered pill seal trembled slightly and merged into the cauldron. The fire elemental battle chi instantly filled the cauldron, refining the pill that was about to take shape. Chi-chi, ka-ka. The scorching heat caused cracks to appear on the cauldron. Not good. The cauldron is going to explode. This kid's alchemy hand seal is too violent. His second-tier cauldron can't withstand it. Elder Xian Tian exclaimed, while Elder Qing Huan revealed a sinister smile. Lin Shun, even the heavens aren't helping you this time. Bang! A huge explosion swept across the arena, and the energy in the cauldron exploded. The surging heat wave rushed to the spectators' stand. It's over. Everyone had the same thought in their minds. The furnace had exploded at the most crucial moment of pill formation. The power was strong enough to destroy the pill in an instant. Seeing Lin Shen's cauldron exploding, Song Qingheng couldn't suppress the ecstasy in his heart and laughed wildly. Ha ha! Lin Shen, did you see that? You've done so much evil that even the heavens won't let you go. I'm the winner of this competition. Huh? Before Song Qingheng could finish laughing, his laughter stopped abruptly. His eyes widened, and his gaze became dull. An orange-red pill seal floated in the air, and purple and green pill clouds filled the sky. The area was more than 10 times bigger than Song Qingheng's wind cloud spiritual pill. The purple and green pill clouds almost covered the entire arena. The pill seal slowly fell, and a purple and green pill the size of a longan rolled into Lin Shen's palm. The energy waves that slightly leaked out made countless Earth Realm martial artists feel like they were about to break through their shackles. Their intuition told them that, as long as they took that pill, they would definitely be able to improve a lot. Ha ha! I knew that you're not simple. Tell me, what's the name of your pill? At this time, the old man's light laughter came from the sky. Bald Elder's figure passed through Lin Shen's pill cloud and appeared in the air. He said with a smile. Lin Shen raised the purplish-green pill in his hand and said word by word. Rank 4 middle stage, Heaven's Soul Purplish Azure Pill. The medicinal effects were gentle and long-lasting. It could be consumed by both the Combat Soul Realm and the Earth Fiend Realm. If consumed by the Combat Soul Realm, they could break through 2 to 3 realms. It could also be used to break through the bottleneck of the Earth Fiend Realm. It was suitable for martial artists of all attributes. If anyone below the 7th level of the Earth Realm consumes it, there's a 90% chance of breaking through to the next realm. Lin Shen's simple introduction set off huge waves among all the students and instructors of the alchemy department. This Heavenly Soul Azure Purplish Pill could be sold for a sky-high price of at least 150,000 credits in the Pill Pavilion, or even higher. This was an elixir that could allow a 6th-level Earth Realm expert to break through. Furthermore, it didn't have any attribute restrictions. Its medicinal effects and value were comparable to Tier 4 high-grade elixirs, let alone the fact that it could allow a person to break through 2 to 3 realms in the Combat Soul Realm. It wasn't just to the students, but to the instructors and elders, it was a fatal attraction. As compared to Lin Shen's Heavenly Soul Azure Purplish Pill, Song Qingheng's Cloud Travel Wind Spirit Elixir had plenty of restrictions. Furthermore, there was only a certain chance of breaking through to the next realm. Compared to the 90% chance of the Heavenly Soul Azure Purplish Pill, it was simply a pile of dog shit. It wasn't even worth mentioning. Green Tier Elixir Refinement Handprint. Heavenly Soul Azure Purplish Pill. How is this possible? How can he have such a powerful foundation? Song Qingheng was in a daze. His teeth were chattering as he couldn't accept this toppling reality. What a great Heavenly Soul Azure Purplish Pill. 3 elders, do you think it is necessary to test the pill? Bald Elder looked at Lin Shan with admiration and asked the 3 grand elders of the alchemy department. Hee, the color of this elixir is top-notch. The elixir fragrance has a pure battle chi fluctuation. It also has a great impact on the Earth Realm. Furthermore, it was refined right under this old man's nose. Naturally, there's no problem. I don't need to test the pill. Elder Xian Tian nodded with satisfaction and praised. He then cast a kind look at Lin Shun. And this old man also doesn't need to test the pill. This elixir is completely natural. It has brought out the medicinal properties of all the herbs to the fullest. If it wasn't for the limitation of the ingredients, it might even reach the 4th level of high grade. Even this old man can't do it better than this kid. He is so young, but his future is limitless. Lung Yunting exclaimed, causing all the seniors of the alchemy department to feel their scalps go numb. Even one of the 3 grand elders of the alchemy department admitted that he couldn't do it better than Lin Shun. What did this mean? This meant that a true alchemist grandmaster was on the rise. Hee, looks like the result is already set. The winner of this alchemy competition is Lin Shun. Bald elder personally announced the result. Song Qingheng was dazed in place. The cloud wind spirit pill in his hand fell and rolled on the ground. From today onwards, the strongest alchemy student of the Heavenly Song Academy had already changed. It was Lin Shun. Lin Shun slowly raised his hand. The entire audience was boiling with excitement. There were even more hissing sounds. No one could have imagined that Lin Shun would be so powerful and terrifying this time, completely suppressing Song Qingheng. According to the rules, the loser will have to fulfill one request of the winner and pay 50,000 credits. At this time, the referee elder stood up and returned the 2 identity jade cards in his hand to Lin Shun and Song Qingheng. Lin Shun's identity jade card showed that he already had 100,000 credits. On the other hand, Song Qingheng's identity jade card had less than 10,000 credits left. It was quite miserable. Her beautiful eyes stared at Lin Shun. Yulinlin looked at the youth in a daze. From the beginning to the end, he didn't reveal any expression of pride or joy. It was as if all of this was a matter of course. Not only Yulinlin, but the students of Class 66 also noticed Lin Shun's calmness. They remembered the song Lin Shun had played earlier. How lonely it is to be invincible. How empty it is to be invincible. Alone at the peak, the cold wind constantly blows. My loneliness, who can understand me? Others laugh at me for being too crazy. I laugh at others for not being able to see through me. So, he is the real invincible. Gu Qinfeng admired Lin Shun for the first time. He looked at him with almost fanaticism. At this time, in the arena, winner, Lin Shun. Please state your request. The referee elder asked. Lin Shun stood up. Since Senior Baldy is here today, I have a very simple request. I hope that Senior Song Qingheng won't be bewitched by some elder to find trouble with me in the future. If he wants to come, then let him come himself. Whether it's battle chi cultivation or alchemy, I, Lin Shun, will accompany him to the end. At the end of his speech, Lin Shun almost directly looked at Elder Qing Huan, who was sitting in the back row of the arena. The corner of his mouth faintly revealed an arrogant and overbearing smile. Chapter 81. Seeing that Lin Shun actually dared to challenge the authority of the Grand Supreme Elder of the Alchemy Department, the whole audience was in an uproar. Good, good, good. What a good Lin Shun. The new generation excels the old. Elder Qing Huan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His old and withered face was trembling nonstop, faintly showing a hint of malevolence. He smashed the seat with his palm, flicked his sleeves, and left. This palm strike gave many people a fright. Their eyes were full of shock and admiration as they looked at Lin Shun. Some even secretly gave him a thumbs up. This was the first student in the history of Heavenly Song Academy who dared to challenge the Grand Supreme Elder of the Alchemy Department. Moreover, he was a new student who had been in the academy for less than 6 days. He's really fierce. He even dared to offend Elder Qing Huan. He's really a tough guy. Elder Bald clicked his tongue in amazement. The seniors were also talking about this with great interest. With the credits in hand, Lin Shun put away his identity jade tablet and the purplish-blue heavenly soul pill and left the arena in a carefree manner. When the people of Class 66 saw Yulinlin following Lin Chen's back, they hurriedly chased after him. Heavenly Song Academy, Cultivation Method Pavilion. On the top floor of the Cultivation Method Pavilion Lin Shun was browsing through a large number of cultivation methods and combat skills by himself. The purpose of his trip here was to choose a defensive combat skill. He was already not lacking in offensive skills. In terms of speed, he also had the True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings. Moreover, the speed of the True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings would increase as his body refinement level grew. As for secret techniques related to healing and recovery, he had the True Water Origin Scripture, a mysterious secret technique. As long as he had enough water-type battle chi, he wouldn't be seriously injured in a short period of time, and his life wouldn't be in danger. The only weakness was its defense. Lin Shun was currently relying on the powerful body refinement of his flesh shell and the True Water Origin Scripture to protect his life. He was currently lacking a strong defensive combat skill. A defensive combat skill that could withstand some powerful attacks and prevent him from being fatally injured in a short period of time. Divine Origin Cover, low blue rank defensive combat skill. Uses condensed battle chi to launch a large-scale defensive technique. Cultivation requirement, battle soul stage. Pitch black abyss body, cyan low-level defensive battle skill. Absorbs dark attribute battle chi. Can absorb and transfer the power of attacks. Cultivation requirement, battle soul stage and above, dark attribute battle force. Fiery tenfold, low green rank defensive battle skill. Lin Shun looked around, but he still couldn't find a suitable one for himself. Even the powerful Heavenly Song Academy only had 5 or 6 types of defensive skills above the blue rank. None of them were suitable for Lin Shun and would allow him to cultivate them quickly. My battle chi cultivation might be much stronger, but it is still my shortcoming. The defense condensed from battle chi might be able to deal with a first-level Earth Realm martial artist, but it would pale in comparison to an even stronger expert. Walking past the counter, Lin Shun casually looked at the fine green rank battle skill section. With this look, Lin Shun suddenly discovered that in the green rank battle skills area, there was actually a glow similar to an attribute light ball. What is this? Lin Shun walked to the source of the glow. On top of the bookshelf in the corner, he saw a scroll of battle skills. Adamant Battle Body, peak grade green rank defensive battle skill. Can absorb gold attribute spirit chi and increase the cohesion of battle chi. Inside this scroll of battle skills sealed in the counter, there was a floating treasure chest with a faint glow. But due to the seal on the counter, Lin Shun couldn't directly touch this treasure chest or this scroll of battle skills. This treasure chest might have some powerful battle skills. Since it is a peak grade green rank battle skill, even if there isn't, I won't lose much. After making up his mind, Lin Shun called for the Technique Pavilion Elder and spent 8,500 credits to purchase this peak grade green rank adamant battle body. You can take it back and make a copy. Remember, you cannot spread it out. You have to return it to the Technique Pavilion within a month, or else you know the consequences. The Technique Pavilion Elder helped Lin Shun remove the battle chi seal on the counter. The moment Lin Shun picked up the adamant battle body, he grabbed the floating treasure chest. Host has opened the ancient bronze treasure chest. Obtained, intermediate green rank defensive battle skill, Heavenly Dipper battle chi. Absorb gold attribute spirit chi into the body and circulate it through special meridians to refine gold attribute battle chi, forming an extremely strong gold dipper battle chi to protect the body. The more gold attribute spirit chi absorbed, the stronger the defense. Intermediate green rank. Lin Shun's eyes lit up. This grade had completely exceeded his expectations. System: I want to learn Heavenly Dipper battle chi. Consumed 50,000 technique soul essences. Assimilating host cultivation memories for Heavenly Dipper battle chi. The cultivation method of Heavenly Dipper battle chi poured into Lin Shun's mind, and he suddenly understood. Heavenly Dipper battle chi was a defensive battle skill that was based on the peak grade green rank adamant battle body. The more gold attribute spirit chi absorbed, the stronger the gold attribute battle chi's defense would be. I have picked up a treasure this time. This Heavenly Dipper battle chi came at just the right time. It is just right for me. If I pick up a few more gold attribute light balls, I will be able to increase my defense in an instant. Lin Shun spent another 30,000 technique soul essences to learn the cultivation method of adamantine battle body. He then started to circulate the heavenly dipper battle cheese meridians. Lin Shun had 280,000 gold attribute spirit chi, which caused his gold attribute battle chi to be more than 10 times stronger than martial artists of the same level. Boom! Lin Shun, who was sitting cross-legged on the top floor of the technique pavilion, circulated the energy in his meridians and transformed his gold attribute battle chi into heavenly dipper battle chi. His entire body was surrounded by streams of gold dipper battle chi that were like dragons swimming around. It was indestructible. This defense can at least withstand the full power attack of a third-level Earth Realm martial artist. Lin Shun was wild with joy. This heavenly dipper battle chi's power was far beyond his expectations. With the addition of the true water origin technique, there were only a handful of people in the Earth Realm that could threaten his life. Of course, those heaven-defying existences like Ning Qingxian were exceptions. This time's harvest is not bad. I still have over 90,000 credits. This is great. I can even buy some other things to replenish my combat strength. Lin Shun placed the adamantine battle body back in its original position and walked toward the balcony. Just as he was about to leave, a counter in the corner emitted a faint glow and attracted Lin Chen's attention. This is... Lin Shun walked towards the counter in the corner and took a closer look. An ancient book that was covered in dust was placed inside the counter. A powerful battle chi seal was isolating it from the outside world. In front of the counter, there was a simple description of this item. Incomplete green rank battle skill, Divine Wilderness 9 Arts. After the Vice Principal's personal appraisal, it is suspected to be an ancient battle skill. The grade has yet to be determined, but it is confirmed to be at least green rank primary stage and above. Note: this cultivation method is extremely difficult to cultivate. Please purchase with caution. Price: 140,000 credits. What attracted Lin Chen's attention wasn't the Divine Wilderness 9 Arts. It was hidden within the Divine Wilderness 9 Arts, which was suspected to be an attribute light ball. This situation is exactly the same as the Heavenly Dipper Battle Chi. It is a pity that this Battle Chi seal can only be unsealed after purchasing this battle skill. The current me is unable to take out so many credits. Lin Shun let out a sigh of regret. This cultivation method must have some hidden secrets. But now that he was unable to come into contact with this cultivation method, he had no way of knowing the secrets within. Chapter 82. I'll wait until I have enough credits to buy it. In any case, this thing shouldn't be able to run away. Lin Shun did not feel any heartache. Only he could see this attribute light ball. This opportunity only belonged to him. No one else could take it away. After another round of probing, Lin Shun left the cultivation technique pavilion. Walking on the main road of the academy, he lowered his head and pondered. Should I use the remaining credits to buy some alchemy ingredients or save them to buy the Divine Desolate 9 Arts? While Lin Shun was still hesitating, he crossed a mountain and arrived at another pavilion in the academy. At this moment, he discovered that in the southeast direction, there was a golden light that filled the sky. This is an attribute light ball. The golden light shone in the sky. Lin Shun was dumbfounded. How many attribute light balls did it take to condense such a dazzling brilliance? Activating the wind thunder fire steps, Lin Shun turned into a fiery light and stepped forward. In less than 15 minutes, a quiet and elegant mansion slowly appeared in front of Lin Chen's eyes. This mansion was elegant and quiet, with a fragrance lingering in the air. There were many pavilions, and from time to time, there would be the sounds of girls playing and chatting. This is actually the inner courtyard's female dormitory. Lin Shun was stunned. This mansion was the inner courtyard's female dormitory. Most importantly, there were a dazzling array of golden attribute light balls scattered around. They were all gold attribute light balls. Lin Shun could not help but swallow his saliva. If he could obtain all of these attribute light balls, his defense would probably increase by several levels. But the key is how to get in. This female dormitory is in the inner courtyard. None of the girls who can enter the inner courtyard are easy to deal with. Lin Shun sat on the grass, vexed. The treasure was in front of him, but he could not touch it. Wasn't this feeling like watching a romance movie for a few hours, only to realize that there was no toilet paper? System, is there any way for me to take the attribute light ball away without getting close to it? Unable to come up with an answer, Lin Shun asked the system. System answer host. Host can try to use the corresponding attributes cultivation technique to draw the attribute light ball. If there are no obstructions in the way, the effect will be best. For example, clothes or buildings. Circulating the cultivation method of the corresponding attribute. Lin Shun paused for a moment, then immediately began to test it out. The metal-type battle chi in his dantian began to circulate through the meridians of the heavenly dipper battle chi. Lin Shun's skin was covered in a layer of light golden coating. Although the coating looked weak, it was actually indestructible. Under the purple-gold pupil, Lin Shun could clearly see that the attribute light balls in the female dormitory were beginning to move. There were even a dozen attribute light balls that were beginning to roll in his direction. Lin Shun looked expectantly at the attribute light ball rolling towards him. However, it seemed that the suction force was not enough. It's still not attractive enough. Do I have to take off my clothes? While Lin Shun was hesitating, a loud shout made him quickly withdraw the heavenly dipper battle chi. Finally found you, hey? Everyone, Big Brother Lin Shun is here. Halfway up the hillside, a group of people rushed over. Lin Shun took a closer look. They were all students from class 66. Big Brother Lin Shun, we finally found you. A white-clothed youth ran in front of Lin Shun, panting and exhausted his battle chi. It was obvious that he had spent a lot of effort to find Lin Shun. What did you call me, Big Brother? I seem to be younger than all of you, right? Lin Shun did not know whether to laugh or cry. What kind of show was this? No. Your strength is above all of us. You climbed to the top of True Dragon Mountain during the freshman assessment. On the second day of entering the academy, you solved instructor Sue's big case. You even single-handedly challenged 2 classes and 100 senior students. You even defeated the strongest senior student of the medicine refinery department, Song Qingheng. You even dared to confront the medicine refinery department's Grand Supreme Elder. The white-clothed youth, Ying Liang, said excitedly. His tone became more and more agitated. Yes, in terms of talent, strength, wisdom, talent, and potential, you are above all of us. We are willing to treat you as our big brother and be the monitor of class 66. His blood-red robe fluttering, Gu Chunfeng stood out and said sincerely. Lin Shun was startled. He looked at the 21 people of class 66. Almost the entire class was present, and everyone was looking at him with expectant eyes. In terms of talent, Lin Shun was younger than any of them, but he reached the peak of True Dragon Mountain. In terms of strength, Lin Shun defeated them in their respective fields. In terms of courage, he dared to challenge Song Qingheng and the Grand Elder of the Alchemy Department. In terms of wisdom, he used only one day to find the criminal who kidnapped instructor Sue, and it was shocking. In terms of style, he did not adhere to any form, and he was unique. He ate the precious dragon tendon grass as snacks, and he even cheered and even guided his opponents in the process of refining medicine. In the history of Heavenly Song Academy, there was no one more suitable than him to be the monitor of Class 1, Demon Genius. I don't want to, Lin Shun shrugged and smiled casually. Anyway, you guys are all troublemakers. If I want to be your monitor, wouldn't I be looking for trouble? After saying that, Lin Shun took off his shirt in front of everyone in Class 66, leaving only a pair of mini shorts. Everyone in Class 66 was dumbfounded by this scene. A few timid girls could not help but cover their faces, not daring to look. What is this? If you want to refuse, then refuse. Why are you taking off your shirt in front of everyone? The sun shone on the youth's streamlined muscles and the explosive strength hidden in his body. Lin Chun activated his Heaven Dipper Battle Chi in front of everyone in Class 66. Everyone come over. All attribute light balls. Lin Chun let out an excited shout and started sprinting. Lin Chun actually started to run naked around the inner court's female dormitory. He activated his Heaven Dipper Battle Chi again. This time, all the golden attribute light balls rolled towards him, and more attribute light balls gathered on his body. However, at this moment, in the eyes of others, it was a completely different matter. This was simply a freaking naked pervert who took off his shirt and left only his shorts. Furthermore, he was surrounding the female dormitory. Shouldn't we leave now? Is there something wrong with Brother Lin Chen's brain? Why is he taking off his shirt and running around the female dormitory? Is he crazy? The boys in Class 66 swallowed their saliva, and the corners of their mouths twitched. The few girls were blushing, and from time to time, they would steal glances at Lin Chen. Host received 6,715 metal energy, 4,769 metal energy, 7,981 metal energy. The system screen popped up in front of Lin Chen's eyes, and the attribute values that were constantly soaring shot up like a rocket. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Awesome. Seeing the rate of increase of the metal energy, Lin Chen could not help but laugh heartily. Seeing Lin Chen's unbridled laughter, everyone felt their scalps go numb, running naked around the female dormitory and laughing so happily. Crazy, crazy, crazy. He must be crazy. No, Lin Chen bro would not do such a meaningless thing. Suddenly, Class 66's Ing Liang's eyes flashed, and he clapped his hands. Think about it. He climbed the true dragon mountain, roasted the dragon tendon grass, concocted medicine, and played the zither. I'm afraid that this time is definitely different. Ing Liang's eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. You're saying that Lin Chen bro is testing us? Gu Chunfeng slapped his thigh and clapped his hands in praise. Yes, this is the largest female dormitory in the academy. Which boy would dare to come here normally? Bro Lin Chen's actions are going against the law, and perhaps he is testing whether our will to follow him is firm enough. Ing Liang clenched his fists. The boys were shocked as they stared at Lin Chen's back, and the admiration in their hearts was especially strong. Brothers, we are the genius Class 66. How can we let bro Lin Chen look down on us? If you're still a man from Class 66, follow bro Lin Chen and run naked around the female dormitory. Ing Liang took the lead, and his palms tore all his clothes, leaving only a pair of boxers. Follow bro Lin Chen and run naked around the female dormitory. The boys of Class 66 all took off their clothes and undid their pants as they chased after Lin Chen's back. Yulin Lin face-palmed. Where did this bunch of idiots come from? Why am I in the same class as them? The first rays of the morning sun shone down, and the group of boys led by Lin Chen chased after each other. They were naked except for a pair of pants as they sprinted around the perimeter of the girls' dormitory. Behind the boys was a group of girls who ran out of the female dormitory one after another. The murderous female students. This scene fell into the eyes of the bald old man who was sitting cross-legged in the void thousands of miles away. He shook his head and sighed. It's so good to be young. This feeling of recklessly burning one's youth is so exciting. The vice president beside him was speechless, and he held his forehead. What burning one's youth? Did water get into your brain too? How did this group of good kids become perverts? Chapter 83. Heavenly Song Academy, Lingyu Mountain, in a magnificent classroom. Lung Yuechi was wearing an ice blue short skirt. She was cold and elegant like a blooming lotus. She walked into the classroom with graceful steps and said habitually, "Today we're going to talk about the coordination between mental cultivation methods and actual combat skills. All of you have to be prepared for actual combat today. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire classroom fell silent. Lung Yuechi raised her head and looked around. There was not even a shadow in the classroom. The whole class is not here? How dare they skip my class? I want to see who is the one leading them. Time returned to half a day before Lung Yuechi arrived at the classroom. On the white jade steps outside the academy's mission hall, a group of youths with messy clothes were lying on the side of the road, panting. Lin Shin was in the lead. Although he was sweating profusely, the excitement in his eyes was unusually high. The mental energy I got from the girls' dormitory has reached over 390,000 points. It's even higher than the metal energy I accumulated before. Looking at the metal elemental energy points, 675,000 on his status bar, Lin Shun smiled with satisfaction. After absorbing so many metal energy attribute light balls, his defense was no longer his shortcoming. It could even become one of his strongest trump cards. But who should I go with? If it didn't help me block those inner court female students, I wouldn't have been able to absorb all the attribute light balls so smoothly. Lin Shin looked at the people from class 66. No matter what, they had helped him. Hence, his tone became gentler as he smiled. Thank you. Speaking of which, why were you following me just now? Ying Liang from class 66 was stunned. He nodded seriously and said, Big brother, didn't you want to test us? Why would he back down? It's just a naked girl's dormitory. Let's do it. Lin Shun was sweating profusely. Damn, when did I test you? Your brain circuits are simply weird. Yes, tough enough. I like your attitude. I was testing you just now. However, this is only the first test. Being stared at by the boys of class 66 with anticipation and admiration, Lin Shun braced himself and replied, So, you're willing to be our class monitor. Ying Liang was happy. Before they could cheer, Lin Shun immediately changed the topic. No, I have a second test. If you pass the second test, I don't mind being your class monitor. As soon as Lin Shun raised his hand, all the boys were filled with deep veneration. Even the girls who had just arrived looked at him curiously. There's a second test? Lin Shun, who was at a loss for words, smiled awkwardly and pointed at the mission hall. The second test is up there. Everyone's eyes lit up. Is Big Brother Lin Shun going to give us some difficult task? Everyone followed Lin Shun into the mission hall. There were more than 100 students in the hall. When they saw that class 66 was having their first group activity, they couldn't help but be shocked. It's Lin Shun and those monsters from class 66. Damn, when has Gu Chenfeng ever followed someone so obediently? Did the sun rise from the west today? Could it be that Lin Shun recruited everyone from class 66? We can't rule out this possibility. This kid is a monster. He even dared to provoke Grand Elder Qinghuan. He is simply lawless. Seeing those arrogant and unruly geniuses following Lin Chen's lead, the seniors couldn't help but make way for them. No one dared to block their path. Isn't this Lin Chen? We are honored to have you here. I wonder which task you would like to take this time. The elder in charge of the mission hall personally welcomed Lin Chen. He didn't dare to neglect him. With Lin Chen's status as a fourth-stage alchemist, he was on equal footing with these elders. Not to mention his temper that even dared to offend Grand Elder Qinghuan. This, Lin Chen hesitated. He really didn't know what task to take. He had just run around the female dormitory naked with the rest of the class. He only wanted to find an outside task to lie low for a while before the news spread. Lin Chen glanced at the notice board and glanced at the top of the notice board. Then, he found a high-level quest with the words group quest. Level 6 mission. Assist the Sunset Empire in defeating the Heaven Do dynasty. Academic credits reward. 900,000 points. Attention! This mission must be carried out as a team. A team of 15 inner court students or more is required to complete this mission. When Lin Shan saw the mission board at the top, he slapped the table and pointed at the mission board as he spoke to everyone in class 66. I want to take on the mission of assisting the Sunset Empire in defeating the Heaven Do dynasty. This is the second test I'm giving you. If you're afraid, it's not too late to regret it now. The moment he said that, the entire mission hall fell into a dead silence. It was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. He actually wants to take on that level 6 mission? That was the most difficult mission the Academy had ever received in the past 100 years. The mortality rate was extremely high. Only the top 50 intercourt seniors could complete it in a team of 15 or more people. Everyone in Class 66 was also stunned on the spot. They never expected Lin Chun to take on this mission. What's wrong? If you don't have the guts, then forget it. I won't force you. I didn't intend to be your class monitor in the first place. Lin Chun smiled mockingly. Just when he thought they were going to give up? I agree. I'm willing to take on this mission. Yulinlin walked lightly and smiled like a flower. Her slender hand slammed on the table with Lin Chun. I accept too. How can I, Gu Chun Feng, lose to a woman? I accept too. I, Ying Liang, entered the Heavenly Song Academy to do something earth-shattering. Meeting Big Brother Lin Chun is my chance. Since everyone is so excited, I accept too. Lin's participation was like lighting a fire in the crowd. Everyone in the class actually participated. Even Qin Xiaofeng, who had always been as timid as a mouse, participated. Good fellow, since none of you are afraid, then why should I be afraid? Anyway, I want a lot of academic credits anyway. Lin Chun smiled wickedly and slammed his palm on the table. How is it, Elder? We've reached the quota. There's no problem, right? Not to mention the elders in charge of the mission hall. Even the seniors were frightened. This guy wasn't joking. He really wanted to take on this mission, and he wanted to take the whole Class 66 with him. The elders remembered Bald Elder's instructions. They had to satisfy this guy's request as much as possible. Seeing Lin Chun and the people of Class 66 being so aggressive, if they refused, they would definitely turn this place upside down. All right, since you insist on taking it, then this mission will be given to Class 66. But you have to remember that this mission is extremely dangerous. If you can't complete it, you have to keep your life as the prerequisite. The elders advised. Everyone in Class 66 had their identity jade tags lit up at the same time, indicating that they had accepted the Level 6 mission. Chapter 84. Lin Chun was about to leave with everyone when he suddenly saw two graceful figures sitting in the corner of the mission hall. Lin Chun was startled. These two women were the twin sisters of Su Lan and Su Lan, who had abducted Instructor Su. Elder, why are the two of them here? Lin Chun asked doubtfully. The elder smiled bitterly. We are waiting for Instructor Lung Yuechi to return. They are her direct disciples. We, the weak elders, are not qualified to punish them. Hearing this news, the corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. These two girls were actually Lung Yuechi's direct disciples? With Lung Yuechi's temper, if she came back, she would skin him alive. Hee, little brother Lin Chun, I know what you're worried about. Why don't we do this? Lin chuckled as he leaned close to Lin Chen's ear. He whispered something into Lin Chen's ear and gave him a plan. After hearing this, Lin Chen suddenly understood. The corner of his mouth raised into a mischievous smile. Then he patted his chest and said seriously, Elder, leave this matter to me. Lin Chen walked in front of the two women and said with a serious expression, I have already mentioned your matter to Baldy Elder and the vice principal. They said that the best punishment for you is to make up for your mistakes. This time, you will follow me to carry out this mission and listen to my orders. As long as you complete the mission, you can make up for your previous mistakes and write it off. The serious Lin Chun said it very seriously and convincingly, making Lin cover her mouth and laugh. We don't believe your nonsense. I want to wait for Master to come back. Su Lan's beautiful eyes glared at Lin Chun as she unhappily said, Oh, Baldy Elder and the vice principal have already instructed me. If you don't listen, then they will personally deal with you. At that time, let's see if your master Lung Yuechi's arm can twist their legs. Lin Chun smiled evilly. Su Lan clenched her teeth and fell in a deep thought. Forget it. Baldy Elder is an old senior related to the General Hospital. Let's not make things difficult for Master. Sister, let's go. Moreover, with our strength, I don't think you would dare to do anything to us. Su Lan, on the other hand, agreed without hesitation. She held Su Lan's hand and stood up. Well, that's a smart person. Little sister Su Lan would be called a brainless girl with big breasts. Lin Chao shrugged and smiled. You shameless bastard. What right do you have to criticize me? Su Lan's beautiful eyes were slightly red. She was so angry that her full mountain range trembled. She felt very wronged. Hee, I won't tease you anymore. Elder, that's all. We'll take our leave first. Lin Shun led the Su sisters in Class 66 out of the mission hall under the stupefied gazes of the elders and senior students. Half a day later, in the Sky Dragon Mountain Range. The group led by Lin Chun rode on 5 griffins purchased from the inner court and landed at a place in the outer court. What is big brother Lin Chun doing in the outer court? Seeing Lin Chun jump from the griffins to the outer court, Qin Xiaofeng was puzzled. Not long after, a young man in green and a natural and unrestrained beauty appeared together with Lin Chun. It was by Juanhao and Shengwan Bihan. These two are my friends and also our main helpers in this operation. They're my classmates. Lin Chun introduced himself to the people of Class 66 by Juanhao and Shengwan Bihan. Greetings, seniors. Junior, Shengwan Bihan, please take care of me. Hello, seniors. My name is Bai Juanhao. The two of them greeted each other politely. Lin Chun led them and jumped onto the griffins. Everyone in Class 66 looked at the two of them suspiciously. Although they were completely convinced by Lin Chun, it was hard for people of the same age to gain their recognition. They were still a little arrogant when dealing with other people. Big brother Lin Chun, what's the use of calling 2 outer court students? Our mission this time is the most difficult level 6 mission in the academy. Even Qin Xiaofeng was doubting the two of them. Lin Chun waved his hand and laughed. That's enough. Don't make wild guesses. Calm down. I can tell you that the two of them are not inferior to anyone here. They might even be better. Lin Chen's words stunned everyone. Then, he told Bai Juanhao and Shengwan Bihan the ins and outs of the level 6 mission. When the two of them found out that he had accepted such a dangerous mission, they were both shocked and impressed. But more than that, they were eager to try it out, because this time they could finally fight side by side with Lin Chun on the other side. At the same time, Lin Chun led Class 66, Shengwan Bihan, Bai Juanhao, and the others out of the inner court. Heavenly Song Academy, inner court elder hall. Damn bald old man, get out here for this old lady. The door of the elder hall was shattered on the spot. Lung Yuechi walked into the elder hall with a frosty face and a murderous aura between her brows. The group of elders who were in a meeting were frightened. When they saw Lung Yuechi, they were angry but didn't dare to say anything. Lung Yuechi, what are you doing? Bald elder's figure appeared in the hall like a ghost. He shook his head helplessly. What am I doing? Why don't you ask yourself first? What kind of thing did you bring back? In the first test, he molested a female teacher. During the test, he burned more than 1,000 dragon tendon grass. On the second day of entering the inner court, he had my disciples disband the sect that I had painstakingly built. He even led Class 66 to skip classes. Lung Yuechi angrily slammed her hand on the conference table and shattered it. That's fine. But just now, he led all the brats of Class 66 to the inner court girls' dormitory naked. What's going on? What kind of weirdo did you bring to this old lady? Seeing Lung Yuechi's furious appearance, none of the elders dared to say a word. They kept quiet out of fear. Bald elder shook his head helplessly and was about to explain. Suddenly, an elder barged into the conference hall with a panicked expression. Bald elder, that freshman Lin Chun, led 21 people from Class 66 and took away the Academy's only Level 6 mission. What? Almost all the elders had the same reaction as Lung Yuechi. Seeing that Lung Yuechi was also there, the elder swallowed his saliva and said submissively. An instructor Lung Yuechi's 2 disciples, Su Lan and Su Lan, were also taken away by him. After the discussion, Lin Chun looked at the Su sisters who were standing on the other side of the griffin. He couldn't help but ask Lin in a low voice. Speaking of which, why did those two sisters kidnap Instructor Sue? Could it be that they are only interested in the same sex? Yulin Lin winked mischievously. She deliberately leaned close to Lin Chen's ear and whispered in his ear. It seems that because of their childhood experiences, the two sisters hate men very much. Moreover, their sister Su Lan has a strange hobby of observing and touching beautiful women's bodies. What? A strange hobby of touching women's bodies. Lin Chen's ears itched from Lin's whispering. He covered his ears and clicked his tongue in wonder. What a pity. How great would it be if this fetish was only for men? Brother Chun, I will definitely cure her. Chapter 85. 2 days later, Lin Chun and the rest rode on the Lion Eagle, crossing hundreds of thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. They passed through the Styx River of the desolate region and arrived at the borders of the desolate region. This place was rich in mountains and rivers, and there were many cities. It was very lively. However, the setting sun empire was currently shrouded in a dark shadow. The new emperor of the Heaven Do dynasty had ascended the throne and was conquering the four empires. Although the setting sun empire was rich in resources, the Heaven Do dynasty had conquered two empires and had 4 times the military strength of the setting sun empire. The difference between the two was huge. The day of the empire's destruction was imminent. Setting sun empire, scorching sun fortress. Dusk enveloped the entire scorching sun fortress, and the 30,000 soldiers of the setting sun empire who were stationed here fell into a lifeless atmosphere. Inside the fortress, the general's camp. A group of generals surrounded an incomplete meeting map and fell into a deathly silence. At this moment, an old general spoke first. General, let's retreat. The soldiers have just gone through a huge battle, and the vanguard of the Heaven Do dynasty is about to arrive. Our scouts estimate that there are 50,000 soldiers. We can't stop them now. That's right. Abandon the scorching sun fortress and retreat to the rear to conserve our troops. We can still regroup and fight another battle. The old generals all spoke together, but the general in the center of the camp frowned and shook his head. If we retreat any further, we will be in the territory of the setting sun empire. If these beasts from the Heaven Do dynasty enter our territory, who knows how many civilians will suffer? As border soldiers, what dignity do we have left? No one is allowed to retreat. We have to defend the scorching sun fortress to the death. This decision made many old soldiers sigh deeply. The chances of winning this battle were slim. Before the battle even began, their morale was greatly reduced. Rumble. The earth shook as the mighty aura of 10,000 horses came from outside. The soldiers in the camp were shocked. The army had arrived. The soldiers opened the tent, and a scout immediately came to report. General Song, the vanguard of the Heaven Do dynasty, is within 500 miles. The soldiers sighed in their hearts. They were prepared to die. Just as the general was about to give the final order, the sound of wind breaking could be heard in the sky above the fortress. A group of youths descended from the sky, scaring the surrounding soldiers into alerting them. Who are you? How dare you trespass into the headquarters of my scorching sun fortress? General Song bellowed, and the airflow collapsed. When he saw who it was, he couldn't help but be startled. Greetings, generals and generals. We are students of the Heavenly Song Academy. We have accepted the request from the Sunset Empire and are here to assist in the battle. Class 60 SXS Ing Liang was the first to walk out. He smiled and cupped his fists. At the same time, he took out his identity jade token. A student of Heavenly Song Academy? Speaking of which, His Majesty did mention the Heavenly Song Academy's request. General Song looked at everyone thoughtfully. Although the strength of this group of young people was quite impressive, after all, they had never seen the disciples of a large sect, so they maintained a skeptical attitude towards their actual combat ability and experience. Ing Liang nodded seriously. You must be General Song Shan. We hope that you can mobilize the soldiers to assist us on our journey to the battlefield. Don't waste your breath on them. They won't trust us now. Lin Shan walked out from behind Ing Liang and interrupted him. There's a batch of elixirs in this spirit receiving ring. Quickly distribute them to the soldiers of the spirit detecting realm and above. Seize the time to recover. Leave the army outside to us. After throwing a spirit receiving ring to General Song Shan, Lin Shun turned and left. Everyone from Class 66 hurriedly followed. Big brother Lin Shun, shouldn't we bring the soldiers with us to increase our chances of winning? Their eyes are filled with distrust and doubt. We don't have time to gain their trust now. Right now, we can only use our strength to win this tough battle. Only then will they listen to us. He led everyone and leaped onto the high walls of the fortress. That General Song Shan followed closely behind. Lin Shan narrowed his eyes. He activated the first tier of his purple gold eyes and saw everything clearly. On the vast plains, the army was less than 600 miles away from the fortress. At the front of the army were 10,000 cavalrymen charging forward. Behind them was an orderly army of 40,000 soldiers. In addition, there were dozens of tamed, flying, ferocious beasts flying over. Lin Shun ignored General Song Shan and jumped down from the 100-meter high walls. With the soul-seizing spear in hand, Lin Shan's silver robe fluttered in the wind. While observing the army with his purple gold eyes, he shouted, "I will take the lead and disrupt their formation from the center. When the time comes, Ing Liang, Chun Feng, and Zhang Yu, the three of you will lead 10 people to meet them head-on. Qin Xiaofeng, when all of us attack, you will be responsible for disrupting the enemy's formation. Yin Haitang, Lu Lin Air, Yu Lin Lin. Also, the Su sisters, you 5 girls will be responsible for fighting in the sky. Shoot down all the flying vicious beasts. Then, support the boys with all your strength. Everyone, remember to listen to Shangguan Bihan's signal. When it's time to retreat, don't hesitate. Don't let me down. Let me see the strength of Class 66 when they work together." Lin Shun took the lead alone. The boys of Class 66 stood outside the fort, facing the wind. Their heroic spirit reached the clouds. All the students of Class 66, regardless of their gender, felt their blood boiling. 26 people against 50,000. Every enemy soldier was above the Qi refinement realm. Under the attack of 10,000 people, even a battle soul realm expert would be drowned in the sea of attacks. There would be no chance of survival. Sulan and Sulan looked at Lin Shun in surprise. 26 people against 50,000 elite soldiers. Was this arrogance, or did he really have the ability to do so? General Song Shan looked at this group of young people in shock. They were only in their early 20s. Some of them were not even 20 yet. Only 1/3 of them had reached the Earth realm. This kind of strength was not bad, but it was not enough to face an army of 50,000. "General, there is not a single soldier outside the Scorching Sun Fort. Could it be a trap?" The general in front of the cavalry asked cautiously. "No worries. The Scorching Sun Fort doesn't have any extra soldiers. Our dynasty is attacking the Sunset Empire from all directions. They won't be able to send reinforcements here. Let's destroy them in one go. As long as we take down the Sunset Empire, brothers, you will have women and resources. You can sleep with any girl you want." The general in the lead laughed with confidence. With a wave of his hand, the speed of the cavalry increased by another notch. 500 li, 400 li, 300 li. 10,000 horses galloped, and iron hooves stomped. As the earth trembled, a murderous aura swept through the sky and rushed to the heavens. When the army was less than 100 li away from the Scorching Sun Fort, Lin Shun suddenly shouted, "Everyone, charge with me." Chapter 86. The true flame purple phoenix wings spread across the sky. Lin Shun rushed into the clouds alone. Led by Ing Liang, Gu Chanfeng, and by Jiwen Hao, the 10 people showed their trump cards and moves. Something is coming. Everyone be careful. The soldiers riding the flying, ferocious beasts shouted. A purple meteor tore through the air and cut through the clouds. Lin Shan rushed to the front row of flying ferocious beasts in a few breaths' time. What is this? Bang! 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 Before the soldiers riding on the flying ferocious beasts could see what the purple meteor was, waves of air exploded in the sky and tore apart a few second-stage goshawks. The purple meteor landed right behind the cavalry. Hundreds of flood horses were frightened and retreated, their hooves flying in the air. When it landed, it created a huge force that sent more than 100 people flying. Who is it? A general shouted in shock. He waved the halberd in his hand toward the sky full of dust. A person who surrounded your 50,000-man army. When the young man sneered, the afterimages of his spear tore apart the halberd light and swept across the land, sending hundreds of flood horses flying. Lin Shan retracted his true flame purple phoenix wings and charged into the back row of the cavalry alone. Recharge rune. War demon earth overturning seal. Earth element battle aura exploded. Lin Shan used the recharge rune for the first time and used the earth overturning seal of the war demon four kings seal. He slammed his palm on the ground. Bang! Rumble. His palms smashed in all directions. The earth's crust collapsed, and thousands of waves of air were created. The air was shaken and the wind was strong. It directly separated the cavalry from the back row of the army. What a scary young man. General Song Shan and the other old generals on the city wall saw this scene and sucked in a breath of cold air. With just one move, he cut off the formation of the cavalry and the infantry vanguard. The soul-seizing spear appeared in Lin Chen's hand. With a swing of his spear, dozens of cavalrymen were sent flying. The tip of the spear turned again and smashed down with close to 70,000 tiger force, shaking up hundreds of tons of stones. Spear shadows of fire elemental battle chi blossomed in the air as they pierced forward with surging heat waves. Lin Shan rushed up, causing the ground to split open. His hand spun the soul-seizing spear. Afterimages spun like wheels on his left and right. With a huge force, it sent all of the war's soul-stage generals who were trying to get close to him flying. Some of them were shattered and died on the spot. Lin Shan alone had slaughtered his way into the army. It was as if he had entered a no-man's land. No one was able to block even one of his moves. On the other side, the front row of the cavalry also suffered an unprecedented attack. Red lightning flashed across the battlefield. Every time it flashed by, it would leave a bloody hole between the flood dragon horses and the soldiers. It was as fast as lightning. Gu Qinfeng held a red spear and rushed to the front of the cavalry with a dozen boys from Class 66. Fists flashed, saber chi crisscrossed, and sword shadows streaked across the sky. A fierce battle instantly broke out in front of the army. Roar! Bai Juanhao let out a dragon's roar. His pure strength rose steadily, and faint azure dragon scales appeared on the surface of his skin. His pure strength was about to catch up with the current Lin Shan. He threw out a punch, causing the air to collapse in all directions. The air exploded one after another, sending a few flood dragon horses flying like an air bomb. His strength was so strong that it made many people from Class 66 look askance. The 13 boys from Class 66 plus by Juanhao, even though their cultivation was still at the 9th level of the War Soul stage, each of them had the strength of the Earth Realm. They gathered together, back to back, covering each other as they fought. None of them went deep into the enemy's camp and fought alone. Moreover, the mental cultivation methods they cultivated were not ordinary things. Their battle endurance and explosive power were not comparable to ordinary experts. For a moment, the entire cavalry army was blocked, and there were even signs of breaking through. Looking at the battle in the sky, after the dozens of goshawks tamed by the Heaven-Do dynasty were disrupted by Lin Chen's sudden attack, a rain of flowers bloomed in the sky like meteors chasing after the moon. Every drop of flower rain was an arrow that shot down at extreme speed, carrying with it a terrifying penetrative power of battle chi. Star Ocean Arrow. Standing on the back of a griffin, a petite and beautiful girl pulled a longbow. Her long hair fluttered in the wind, and her elegant demeanor was enchanting. Her slender, jade-like hands turned into afterimages, and streaks of dazzling arrows were shot out from her hands. Every arrow accurately hit all the goshawks, piercing through their wings. Yin Haitang, the super genius of Class 66, known as the Starflower Sniper Plume, a 1 in a billion genius female archer. Do you get down? 100 dance, scattered hands. Standing beside Yin Haitang, the yellow-dressed girl laughed. Her jade-like fingers shook lightly, and a faint dust cloud turned into a light wind that swept past. Ah, so painful, what is this? My meridians are about to break. The mist is poisonous. When a light wind blew past, all the beast-taming generals' faces instantly turned green. When they burst out screaming, white foam came out of their mouths, and they fell from the goshawk's back. Lu Lin Class 60 SXS Genius Female Poison Master, had a rare talent and understanding of poison. Her poison, even the Academy's elders trembled in fear. Let's go down and support them. The voluptuous Yu Lin jumped down from a height of 10,000 feet with a smile on her face. With the exception of Shangguan Bihan, all the female students were used to this scene. They rode on their griffins and flew at a low altitude. When they were less than 1,000 feet from the ground, a faint green glow suddenly spread out, turning into a pair of light and bright green wings. The green wings were as thin as a cicada's wings, beautiful as a painting. Yu Lin was actually the same as Lin Shun, able to fly in the air before reaching the heaven realm. Yu Lin's white hands overlapped each other. The green jade ring on her finger shot out 2 huge green light beams that were more than 100 feet long, blasting the few cavalry teams that were about to surround the boys and sending them flying. Yu Lin, the strongest blacksmith of the Wasteland's younger generation, came from an illustrious family, had a lot of support-type treasured weapons, and had a boundless background. Everyone be careful. The enemy has a hidden soldier in our team. 2 Disha realm generals suddenly let out an explosive bellow. Their words had just ended when a figure flashed past the cavalry like a ghost. Wherever the ghost passed, all the flood horses were shaken to the ground. Some of the soldiers didn't even know what was going on. Even the Earth Realm generals only saw an extremely blurry shadow flashing by, and couldn't catch a trace at all. The speed of the movement technique was so fast that it sent chills down everyone's spines. Dear seniors, the enemy has formed an army of Earth Realm soldiers from the southeast and is coming for you. Please retreat to the northwest quickly. Don't fall into the encirclement. Shangguan Bihan's voice transmission spread across the entire place. All the boys received it and quickly changed the direction of the battle. Fierce battles broke out everywhere. The boys of Class 66, who were just about to fall into the encirclement, immediately received the support of the girls. They started to kill their way into the cavalry team, scattering the entire army. They couldn't attack the Scorching Sun Fortress at all. Chapter 87. 1,000 Miles of Frost. Su Lan and her sister worked together and released an icy cold battle chi that covered 100 feet. A cold blade swept across the army, and the bone-chilling battle chi swept across. In a blink of an eye, thousands of soldiers were frozen into ice sculptures. Help the boys of Class 66 open up a path. They were at the 3rd and 2nd level of the Earth Realm. With the 2 of them working together, even a normal 5th-level Earth Realm martial artist might not be a match for them. As long as they wanted to retreat, there was almost no opponent on this battlefield that could threaten them. We have no problems with the front row. Yu Lin and Yin Haitang, go and help Big Brother Lin Shun. Ying Liang and Gu Chenfeng fought side by side and yelled out. Yu Lin and Yin Haitang, who was on the Lion Eagle's back, exchanged glances. Both of them came to an agreement and flew forward. However, when the 2 of them officially flew to the other side of the cavalry, the scene in front of them stunned them. The army of 40,000 was on the main road of the stronghold. Their aura was even more terrifying than the cavalry. Sand and stones were flying everywhere, and the wind was raging nonstop. And in the center of the storm was Lin Chun alone. Even Su Lan and Yin Haidang couldn't help but look sideways. Lin Chun held the spear with one hand, and his spear art was unpredictable. Sometimes it was fast, and sometimes it was heavy. With a single hand, he released the battle chi imprint. When the spear swept out, the force would spread in all directions. His entire body was enveloped in a golden aura, making him look like a god descending to the mortal world. Even when 5 to 6 Earthrealm soldiers joined forces and launched a frenzied attack on Lin Chun, it was completely useless. All the attacks from the Earthrealm soldiers were blocked by the golden aura that surrounded his body. Let alone causing any damage, they couldn't even slow down his advance. The ground was constantly shaking. The explosive energy storm continued, and the soldiers were sent flying everywhere. Lin Chun was invincible. He looked down at the world and killed his way to the back of the army. An entire army of 40,000 had been utterly defeated by a lone Lin Chun who had charged in alone. A single person breaking through, unrivaled by tens of thousands. So strong. He is actually the strong. Smallpox sniper, Yin Haidang was deeply shocked by Lin Chen's strength. She was not present when all the boys in the class challenged Lin Chen. This was her first time witnessing Lin Chen's strength. These 40,000 soldiers were not ordinary people. They were all elites who had experienced life and death battles. A normal chi refining cultivator would not be able to defeat any one of them. However, Lin Chun was able to fight against 10,000 of them alone. This kind of courage was rarely seen in the world. This sort of strength can be ranked at the top, even in the inner court. I reckon that only the monsters ranked in the top 20 are able to accomplish this. Su Lan's beautiful eyes narrowed. He was still an underage student. What's wrong, junior sister Haidang? Have you been charmed by little brother Lin Chen? Unknowingly, Lin flew to her side and covered his mouth as he snickered. Yin Haidang rolled her eyes and said seriously, Big brother Lin Chen's battle trajectory is unpredictable. If we help him without permission, it will be counterproductive. This is not a suitable time for us to provide support. Lin nodded in agreement and suggested, why don't we go and defeat those Earthrealm generals so that they will create less trouble for the guys? How about that? Let's do that. The two ladies turned and aimed at the Earthrealm generals. Lin Chun had penetrated deep into the enemy's ranks alone. Monster! This kid is invulnerable to weapons, water, and fire. Isn't this an invincible body? How are we going to fight like this? Damn it, no wonder Song Shan and the other veterans dared to retreat after losing to us. It turns out that the Scorching Sun Fortress has such a trump card. We were too careless. Don't be afraid. No matter how strong this kid is, he is still a human. His strong defense is only because of his defensive battle technique. Don't retreat. The moment his battle chi is depleted, that will be the moment we chop off his head. That's right. As long as we defeat this kid, the Scorching Sun Fortress will be ours. The first prince will reward us handsomely with merits and positions. Blood and fire mixed together. The battle cries shook the heavens and the earth. The soldiers' furious roars and their attacks were like a violent storm. Then let's see who can't hold on first. Lin Chun was trapped in layers and layers of traps. He did not panic in the face of danger and let out a domineering roar. His dragon power burst forth in an instant. He fought back while enduring their attacks. In Lin Chen's vision, those who were at the Battle Soul Realm and above would drop a few attribute light balls as long as they were defeated or crippled by him. He did not bother about these attribute light balls and allowed them to flow into his body. Lin Chun became more and more courageous as he fought, and his attributes soared. Soul Seize. Lin Chun held his spear with both hands. When he pierced out, one spear turned into 100 spears. His aura was aggressive and flashing. With the addition of pure strength, his destructive power increased even more. This move pierced through the combined attacks of many Battle Soul Realm and Earth Realm experts, and even sent them flying. Lin Chun continued to pursue and attack, allowing many battle chi attacks to land on his body. Raising his spear high, Lin Chun angrily smashed it on the head of an Earth Realm expert. At the same time, the opponent's head was broken and bleeding. The attribute light ball flew out and merged into Lin Chen's body. Lin Chen did not have time to look at the attribute light ball's value. His Soul Seize spear let out a crisp cracking sound and broke into two. The Soul Seize spear is, after all, a peak tier 3 weapon. It's not easy for it to last until now. Then let's change to other battle techniques. After casually injuring 2 soldiers, Lin Chun snatched his saber. With 2 sabers in hand, his killing intent became sharp and murderous. Lin Chun leaped up. With a turn of his saber, he raised it and furiously slashed down. He split open the heavy earth battle chi saber mark and forced back several soldiers. Their armor and battle chi defense were all cut into 2. Lin Chen's chaotic 5 spirits battle chi was being consumed at an extremely fast speed. Lin Chun, who was continuously activating super powerful battle techniques and maintaining a high defense, could not take it even if his mid-green rank mental cultivation technique had reached the large success stage. Blood filled the air. Lin Chun killed his way into the middle of the 40,000-strong army. His saber was broken. Lin Chun did not use his saber. His fists were tyrannical. Both of his hands formed into fists. Lin Chun waved his hands, creating afterimages as he violently punched out. His leg swept out like a saber. The sharp wind was like a saber cutting, sawing apart some of the spirit-detecting realm soldiers who were close to Lin Chun. Turning around in the air, he raised his leg high above his head. It was like a battle axe furiously chopping down, shattering the entire ground and lifting up many soldiers. The wind from his fist sent the soldiers flying in all directions, causing them to bleed and retreat. Lin Chen's entire body was like a precise killing machine. At this moment, his battle chi was almost completely exhausted. Even with the help of pills, his recovery speed could not keep up with the speed of consumption. However, relying on the little bit of metal battle chi left in his body and the pure strength of his flesh shell, Lin Chun was still able to carve out a path of blood through the army. This can't go on. If the Heavenly Dipper battle chi disappears, I will instantly become a target for all the soldiers. Even if I can use my spiritual energy to dodge, I can't keep dodging all the attacks. There will definitely be openings in a long battle. Chapter 88. Lin Chun lowered his Heavenly Dipper battle chi by 2 levels and began to circulate the true water returning art. If there was an attack that broke through his defense, the true water returning art would immediately heal his injuries. When Lin Chen's pure strength started to become exhausted, a brand new battle chi broke through the shackles, as if it was reborn and poured into his entire body. Thus, his primordial water scripture was able to heal his injuries in a single breath. My battle chi cultivation has broken through to the 2nd level of the battle soul stage. Lin Chun was ecstatic. He formed a seal with one hand and released 2 moves of the demonic 4 Kings seal in a row. Most of the attribute light balls that had dropped during the battle had been absorbed by Lin Chun. Many of them were the essence of battle chi, allowing Lin Chun to break through his limits. Battle chi has broken through to the 2nd level of the battle soul stage. My Heavenly Dipper battle chi can maintain its strongest defense for a period of time. It's time to decide the victor. Lin Chun, who had once again used his Heavenly Dipper battle chi with all his might, was able to shake many of the battle soul stage to the point that they did not dare to approach him. The top of his head began to faintly emit a brilliant and rolling azure dragon aura. The strength of his left arm soared, and the azure dragon arm appeared out of nowhere. Azure dragon bloodline liberation, 70% of strength. The azure dragon arm rolled up in anger, sweeping across the 8 wastelands with a murderous aura. All of you scram, Lin Chun suddenly shouted. The huge azure dragon claw cut through the sky and smashed the earth vein with a palm, causing Li Kuang to rise in all directions. Thousands of soldiers were crushed, and no one knew if they were dead or injured. Two violent tornadoes swept outwards with the azure dragon arm as the center. At this moment, all the soldiers who were hanging on by their last thread of nerves finally collapsed. Too savage. This young man was simply not human. The power and aura of the azure dragon arm caused a fatal deterrence. Finally, a large number of soldiers began to abandon their helmets and flee, their faces filled with fear. Whoever wanted to fight with that monster could go ahead. They couldn't break in, and they couldn't attack. The other party could take countless of their lives with just a clap of his hand. This was a battle that could only lead to death. Who could stand it? The war lasted until dawn. When the first rays of the morning sun shone on the glaring sun fortress again, the battle continued until dawn. The old generals who had witnessed history on the city walls stared dumbfoundedly at the young people on the battlefield. Every single one of them was still alive and kicking, full of vigor and energy. His eyes were filled with carefree fighting spirit and arrogant domineeringness. On the entire avenue of the scorching sun fortress, except for thousands of dead bodies and thousands of wounded soldiers who were crawling on the ground, not a single soldier still had the will to fight. The most important thing was the silver-robed young man who was furthest in front of the fortress. It was him who had single-handedly intercepted the cavalry regiment and stalled the 40,000-strong army to win this war. He actually won. We survived. We survived. Deities descending to the mortal world. The Academy's geniuses were simply like gods descending from the heavens. Save me from the fire and water. Heavenly Song Academy is mighty. Intense cheers and cheers burst out in the fortress. Countless soldiers were crying tears of joy. The hope for tomorrow was rekindled in their eyes. I didn't expect him to actually do it. Su Lan and her sister stared at Lin Chen's back in amazement. This junior brother might be the most outstanding student in the history of Heavenly Song Academy. Not to mention the old generals and soldiers on the city walls. Even the people from Class 66 were looking at Lin Chen's back in admiration and amazement. They were determined to follow this class monitor and big brother. 26 students against 50,000 elite soldiers, and they retreated without any casualties. This kind of thing could only be described as a miracle. Without Lin Chen's help, even if Class 66 could unite with Su Lan and her sister, it was not impossible for them to defeat the 50,000-strong army. However, if that was the case, the entire class would have to pay a heavy price. The death toll would be at least 1/3. Defeating the 50,000-strong army was not difficult. But the mission of saving the Empire of the Setting Sun was not to defeat the 50,000-strong army. Therefore, defeating the 50,000-strong army without any casualties was Lin Chen's most ideal goal. Old General Song Shan greets the geniuses of Heavenly Song Academy. Sorry for the lack of respect yesterday afternoon. I hope everyone won't take offense. Song Shan apologized sincerely to Lin Chun and the others. But Lin Chun ignored him and spoke seriously to Class 66. Everyone, make use of the time to rest and reorganize. Tonight, we will attack the second stronghold occupied by the Heavendo dynasty. Lin Chen's words were so shocking that he actually wanted to take the initiative to attack again. No, benefactor, the first stronghold has already been occupied by the Heavendo dynasty and is heavily guarded. There are at least 100,000 soldiers. Song Shan did not care about Lin Chen's attitude and hurriedly tried to persuade him. They finally saw a glimmer of hope, so they could not let this young master rush to his death. Are you crazy? That's 100,000-strong army. Moreover, they're inside the stronghold, which is easy to defend and hard to attack. Su Lan could not help but stand up and question Lin Chun. Attacking the Azure Sun stronghold was not like the previous battle. Lin Chun glanced at Su Lan and said indifferently, I will be responsible for all the students and soldiers in this operation. You, I thought you were someone with some ability, but I didn't expect you to be an egomaniac." Sulan was so angry that she stomped her feet. Sulan rolled her eyes at Lin Shun and comforted her sister. "If you want to win, then listen to me. Otherwise, I will immediately take everyone and leave. Right now, you should quickly gather all the spirit-detecting realm soldiers that can still fight for me." Lin Chen's attitude did not allow Song Shan to question him. The killing intent between his brows made him forget that the youth in front of him was only a student. After Song Shan left, Bai Juanhao worriedly said, "Big brother, will something go wrong?" "Don't worry. No one can predict what your big brother will do. We will just follow him and kill the enemy." Yu Lin chuckled. Lin Shun narrowed his eyes and looked in the direction of the army's retreat. He revealed a mysterious smile, and no one could guess what he was thinking. Night, Fear Sun Stronghold. After the victory of this battle, the morale of the stronghold had greatly increased. The soldiers' fighting spirit had been reignited, and they began to focus on defending and recovering their fighting strength. In the general's camp, a heroic and awe-inspiring short-haired girl nodded to Lin Shun, who was sitting at the head of the table. "Everything is ready. I taught the soldiers a total of 3 practical basic formations: yellow sand turntable formation, greenwood formation, and dragon trapping formation. They are used for surprise attacks, encirclement attacks, and defense." The heroic and sassy short-haired girl was the only student from Class 66 who had not gone to the battlefield. She was the youngest formation master in the wasteland and was proficient in dozens of formations. She was at the same level as Song Qingheng in the field of alchemy. Xiang Qinghong, Heavenly Song Academy's genius formation master. "How many spirit-detecting realm soldiers can fight?" Lin Chen nodded and asked. "After the recovery of the pills we gave out, there are a total of 3,200 spirit-detecting realm soldiers who can fight." "Very good. If we succeed in this battle, you have contributed the most. When we complete the mission, we will give you a large amount of credits." Lin Chun slammed the table and stood up. He looked around and laughed heartily. "Which old general is still willing to break into the Azure Sun stronghold with me? If we succeed in this battle, it will be the first battle of the Setting Sun Empire's counterattack against the Heaven Do dynasty." This simple sentence shocked all the old generals in the general's barracks. They had been on the battlefield for their entire lives and had never seen such a ridiculous decision. 3,200 people against 100,000 people. This was no different from sending them to their deaths. If they had not seen Lin Chen's godlike strength, they would have thought that he was a madman. However, such a crazy decision ignited the fire in the hearts of all the soldiers present. Chapter 89. This general is willing to contribute his meager strength. I'll go too. I've already planned to give up my life here. If I can join the counterattack, I won't hesitate. 15 9th level Battle Soul Realm and 3 1st level Earth Realm generals volunteered to join the battle. Even General Song Shan was no exception. General Song Shan will stay here to guard the stronghold. The rest of you follow me. Before Song Shan could refute, Lin Shun waved his hand and the rest of Class 66 followed closely behind. The former could only smile bitterly and follow suit. After the previous battle, Lin Shun had obtained a large amount of Battle Chi Essence attribute light balls. His cultivation had reached the peak of the 2nd level Battle Soul Realm. Once they left the general's barracks, 3,200 elite soldiers were already lined up neatly and had been waiting outside for a long time. "Warriors, everyone has seen the results of today's battle. I won't waste any more words. This time, when we break into the Azure Sun stronghold, everyone must be prepared to die. If anyone wants to back out now, it's still not too late." Lin Chen shouted. All the soldiers stood still. The determination and battle intent in their eyes had already shown their stance. "Very good. This is the answer I want. In 15 minutes, prepare the horses and set off." Lin Chun waved his hand. Under the night sky, a neat group of soldiers set off from the Fear Sun stronghold like a lone wolf. Yin Haitang, Lin, and the other girl sat on the Lion Eagles. They coordinated with Shangwan Bahan's purple gold eyes to scout the area and select the route for the army. Different from before, this group of 3,200 elite soldiers wasn't a large group. Lin Shun led the entire army according to the route that Shangwan Bihan had scouted. They avoided the main road to the Azure Sun stronghold and sneaked into the side valley. In the crisscrossing and complicated valley route, Lin Shun and Shangwan Bihan only took a day to lead all the soldiers to the south valley of the Azure Sun stronghold. The valley was less than 50 miles away from the stronghold checkpoint. Because the fog in the valley didn't dissipate all year round, it was almost impossible for people to find the way out. Thus, there weren't any sentries from the Heaven Do dynasty. However, the fog in the valley was nothing to Lin Shun and Shangwan Bihan. Other than Heaven Dipper realm experts, no one would know that the Sunset Empire had such a team that was already within 25 kilometers of their army. The Azure Sun Fort was located at the intersection of many valleys, making it easy to defend and difficult to attack. The fort was in the shape of a 3, with a total of 4 fort gates. Everyone rest. For hours later, when it's late at night, we'll go straight to the enemy's den and take down the Azure Sun Fort in one go. Lin Shan raised his hand, and all the soldiers dismounted from their horses to rest. However, in reality, no one could truly calm down. This battle was related to the Sunset Empire's counterattack. The entire army was advancing at the fastest speed possible, and the defeated soldiers had yet to return. "Mr. Lin, how do you plan to attack?" An old general came to Lin Chen's side and asked anxiously. "You don't need to know my battle plan. You just need to wait for my orders and charge in. We will open up a path for all of you. You just need to raise your hands and slash." Lin Shun smiled domineeringly. His courage was awe-inspiring. Everyone admired him and didn't dare to have any more doubts. For hours passed in the blink of an eye. "Everyone, it's time. Old rules. I'll break the fort gate. The other boys will take the lead with me. Yen Haidang will cover Lu Lin, and act according to the plan. Everyone, wait for Bihan's orders. Qin Xiaofeng will be responsible for crippling their air defense." Lin Shen's words were concise and comprehensive. Qin Xiaofeng, who was at the side, grumbled, "Why do I always have to do these sneak attacks?" Lin Shen glanced at him and smiled mockingly. "It's fine if you don't want to. Let's swap positions. You'll break the fort gate, and I'll destroy their air defense. How about it?" No. I'll listen to Big Brother's arrangements." After the allocation was completed, Lin Shun gave the order. All the boys of Class 66 rushed out of the mountainside and jumped down, charging toward the West Fort Gate at the fastest speed possible. Whoosh! A purple flame meteor streaked across the sky. Before the scouts on the walls of Fort Qingyang could react, the majestic and ferocious Azure Dragon's aura swept across the sky. Azure Dragon Bloodline Release. 80% strength. The Azure Dragon arm appeared out of nowhere. Lin Shun violently hit the fort gate with his palm. Hundreds of thousands of tiger force rushed out like a dragon and tiger. The fort gate was smashed into pieces, and even a corner of the fort gate collapsed. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. The sentries guarding the fort gate hurriedly blew the alert horn. However, Lin Chen didn't care at all. He flapped his flaming purple phoenix wings and flew into the fort gate. The Azure Dragon arms swung wildly and smashed a large number of catapults, crossbow vehicles, and other large-scale weapons into pieces. Lin Chen seemed to have entered a no-man's land. He went all the way from the fort gate. Everything in sight was destroyed. A large number of soldiers who were resting were instantly submerged by the collapsed buildings. Follow Big Brother Lin Shun. Charge! Bai Juanhao led the charge and charged into the fort gate with the boys of Class 66. With Lin Chun opening a path for them, the speed of their attack was like a hot knife through butter. This wave of attack came too suddenly. Fort Qingyang was just in the stage of taking over and reorganizing. They weren't ready for battle at all. "It's time for me to take the stage," Lu Lin giggled, and the lion eagle spread its wings and soared into the sky. Lu Lin was quickly discovered by many soldiers in less than 10 breaths after entering the fort gate. Be careful. The enemy's attack and air attack. Shoot that griffin down. The soldiers guarding Fort Qingyang were very sufficient. Even though Lin Shun and the boys of Class 66 had opened a bloody path, the soldiers still didn't react. However, there were still many experts and veterans who reacted quickly and took the initiative to aim at Lu Lin. Release the arrows. Colorful rays of battle aura bloomed in the fort gate. A large number of arrows filled the sky like a hurricane, completely drowning Lu Lin and the griffin she was riding. The Su sisters stood on the back of the griffin and waved their fingers. Icy mist filled the sky and suddenly condensed into a dark ice shield, protecting the griffin and Lu Lin. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Flames swept across the sky. Streaks of battle aura that tore through the air rolled over and burned all the arrows that tried to get close to Lu Lin into nothingness. The image of the griffin appeared in the sky again. There was a beautiful figure standing on it with a longbow in her hand. She was as beautiful as a painting. It was Yen Haidang. She quickly turned the longbow in her hand and shot out arrow attacks again and again, intercepting all the attacks that tried to get close to Lu Lin. Haitang and my two seniors. Thank you, Lu Lin chuckled. A sinister smile appeared on her delicate and fair face. With a wave of her hand, a storm-like green hurricane began to blow in the sky above Fort Qingyang. This hurricane contained a pungent smell. What is this? My battle aura is circulating so slowly. This gust of wind is poisonous. Quick, go to the tent and get the antidote. It's so hot. The battle aura in my body seems to be burning. Save me, save me. Chapter 90. Lu Lin who was gliding across the sky, still had a confident smile on her face. My poison isn't that easy to cure. If I hadn't diluted the poison to increase the number of poison people, you wouldn't even have the chance to scream. Lu Lin threw poison from high up in the sky, and with Yen Haitang's cover, she quickly poisoned a quarter of the soldiers. Even if the other soldiers didn't fall, they would have less than 50% of their combat strength left. At the mountainside, all the soldiers were waiting on their horses. Shangguan Bihan stood on the back of the griffin, using her purple-gold eyes to observe the situation in Qingyang Fort. Everyone, take the antidote. We can set off now. All the obstacles have been cleared. Shangguan Bihan gave the order, and the 3,200 soldiers roared in unison, urging their horses to gallop forward with great momentum. These soldiers' usual combat strength hid their anger towards the Heaven Do Empire. Now that it had truly erupted, all of them had the will to die, and they were many times fiercer than usual. Coupled with Lu Lin's poison fog, the battle was almost one-sided. The soldiers raised their swords and slashed down, killing in all directions. Moreover, the selected soldiers were all elites of the spirit-detecting realm, and they had also learned the 3 basic formations of Xiang Qinghong. They attacked and defended in an orderly manner, directly charging into Qingyang Fort. The smoothness and momentum of this battle made the veteran generals who were participating in the battle tear up and their blood boil. With this offensive, they might really be able to take down Qingyang Fort. Lin Shun and the boys from Class 66 led the charge, charging into the center of the fort. The poisoned and ambushed soldiers were no longer a concern to them, and they could leave them to the soldiers behind. What they needed to deal with were the Earth Realm experts hidden here. Qingyang Fort, the third gate of the fort. I didn't expect that Sunset Empire to have such a trump card hidden, appearing and disappearing mysteriously. If not for Master Jin's arrival, we might really have been defeated here. Make your move. Leave them behind. Once Master Jin arrives, everyone will die. Suddenly, 10 silhouettes appeared on the walls of the third fortress. They were the Earth Realm experts who were guarding the Azure Sun Fortress. Interesting, finally a few people who can fight. Gu Qinfeng swept away more than a dozen people with his spear. With a warlike smile, he leaped into the air. Earthrealm, huh? It's time to test my battle prowess. Bai Juanhao roared at the sky, and the dragon's roar shook the sky. His skin and cheeks gradually showed the outline of dragon scales, and his eyes turned green. His pure strength broke through 90,000 tiger power. The geniuses of Class 66 displayed their remarkable abilities and engaged in an intense battle with the 10 Earth Realm martial artists. Lin Shan was unimpeded as he broke through the third gate alone. Just as he broke through the gate of the fortress, he suddenly realized that there were already tens of thousands of soldiers gathered here. All of them had regrouped, and their momentum was terrifying. Big brother Lin Shan, this is bad. I don't know why, but the soft tendon-burning chi powder I concocted had no effect at all on the soldiers behind. At this moment, Lu Lin, exclamation came from the sky. Before Lin Shan could ask for the reason, the low and heroic sound of war drums rumbled. There was a faint spiritual fluctuation in the air, and the sound of zither strings could be heard. The zither strings matched with the war drums, forming an impassioned war song that shook people's hearts and filled the air. The war song stirred up the bloodlust and killing intent hidden in one's heart. It had the effect of hypnosis and strong psychological suggestion. To someone of Lin Chen's level, this song was nothing. But to the tens of thousands of soldiers gathered here, it was like an unprecedented cardiac stimulant was injected into their bodies. They were all like dragons and tigers, their veins bulging and their battle aura boiling. Amazing! What kind of technique is this? It actually raised the battle aura and physical strength of all the soldiers by 1 or 2 levels. Lin Shan activated his purple-golden eyes to check the strength of the soldiers and couldn't help but gasp. It felt as if they were burning their own life force in exchange for battle prowess. Sons of Heaven Do, chase away the invaders. We are the strongest civilization and origin of the wasteland region. As long as Heaven Do exists, the sky will be clear. The deep middle-aged man's voice suddenly rang out, and the rhythm of the song suddenly increased by another level. As long as Heaven Do exists, the sky will be clear. The remaining tens of thousands of soldiers instantly let out earth-shattering roars and charged towards Lin Shan without any fear. Lin Shan narrowed his eyes and punched out like a dragon. His fists were like raging waves, and the wind from his fists pierced through all directions, violently smashing into the sea of soldiers charging towards him. But the effect this time was completely different from before. Lin Shan couldn't stop the advance of the army at all. Instead, he was suppressed by them and kept retreating. Even if he smashed the front row of soldiers, he couldn't stop their advance. The soldiers seemed to have lost their fear, and only their killing intent and fearless anger surged in their hearts. Not good. There's a change in the situation. Everyone retreat. Lin Shan shouted. The boys who were fighting with the Earthrealm warriors were instantly shocked. They stopped fighting and retreated at full speed. How can we let you retreat so easily after attacking the fortress that we just occupied? A few Earthrealm old generals laughed sinisterly and chased after them crazily. Gu Qinfeng and Bai Juanhao were entangled and couldn't escape at all. Star Arrow Storm, Sacred Blue Shield, Ice Spirit Sword Chi, Viper Spirit 7 Deadly Poison. The girls in the sky made their moves and helped everyone retreat. Yu Linlin helped the boys to defend. Yin Haidang and Su Lan blocked the attacks of the Earthrealm warriors. When Lu Lin, poison gas came into contact with the 2 Earthrealm warriors, their arms were corroded and turned into ghastly white bones. Lin Shan spread out his purple True Flame Phoenix wings and retreated with everyone. At the south gate of Green Sun Fortress, the soldiers who were about to charge and saw a large number of soldiers charging out of the fortress. Everyone, there's a change in the plan. Retreat according to the original route. Shangguan Bihan transmitted her voice from the sky. Everyone looked at each other and understood what she meant. Without another word, they immediately urged their horses to turn around. Almost 50,000 soldiers charged out of Green Sun Fortress. Lin Shun and the rest tried to escape, but those Earth Realm warriors were like maggots on the bones. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't disperse. This won't do. If we continue like this, we'll be drowned by the army before we even leave the fortress. Lin Shun activated his purple golden eyes and instantly observed the situation of the entire Green Sun Fortress. According to the current situation, not to mention Class 66, even the soldiers would be caught up by the 50,000 soldiers behind them. By then, it would really be a desperate battle. Someone has to stay behind to cover the retreat. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave. Lin Shun shouted. Bai Juanhao didn't say anything and immediately turned to look at Lin Shun. Big brother, let me stay behind to cover the retreat. Why the hell would you stay behind? Run faster. Lin Shun couldn't help but laugh and scold him. This kid was really loyal. Everyone, don't hesitate. Run at full speed. No matter what happens, don't turn back. Lin Shun flapped his purple true flame phoenix wings and flew to the front of everyone. He suddenly shouted. In the next moment, his hands changed rapidly. Charging Rune, Demonic War, Four Kings Seal. Demonic War, Golden Meteor Seal. Fire King Seal, Earth Overturning Seal, Heavenly Wood Seal. This was the first time Lin Shun used the Charging Rune. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.